and welcome to another happy pod back from the dead. Whoa, we live once again. We live. That's right. We are back permanently.
No, not true.
Every Friday at 10 a.m.
Still not true.
Get ready for a new episode of another happy pod. Lawrence has promised us all.
No, I didn't do that. I still very much have a baby.
We're back, and boy, is it good to be back. What a lovely
theme,
time.
Man.
Oh, it was nice hearing that theme.
It was. We danced, both of us.
We did dance. How I can't remember how I started this.
You're right, Nathan. This is the show where we get together to discuss.
Lawrence, shut the fuck up and tell us what this show is all about.
Nathan James Power. This is the show where we get together to discuss things in the realm of pop culture. It could be a movie, could be a telly show, could be a video game, but the main thing is that we do so without any of the toxic discourse that is oh so prevalent these days. We're back, baby!
We're back.
Oh.
It's warm though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you having a little bit of food?
No.
What are you eating?
Not eating anything.
I see you eating something. And what? Oh, it's a slush. Whoa!
Yeah.
Ooh! Where you got that from?
Bossman.
Bossman's giving you slush puppies.
Yeah. You got a Bossman for a slush puppy?
I'm just amazed that you braved a walk to a shop today.
It's like round the corner.
Yeah, but fuck that, man. It's too hot.
No, it's fine.
Anyway, how are you? What are we doing here? Why are we back, Nathan?
We are back because, was it your idea to do this?
No, it was yours.
Was it?
Yeah, it was yours. Well, no, we're back on the main feed because I said we should put it on the main feed. But we were just going to do a little Andor thing for our Patreon for Still Got Legs.
Oh, okay. And then I said, let's just do another happy pod.
And then I said, well, if we're doing another happy pod, it makes sense to have it on the feed after a brief respite and window. So if you're from Still Got Legs, you probably heard this on the Patreon if you're over there.
So maybe this is on the Patreon, but also maybe we just put it out on another happy pod.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it.
Should we just drop it on another happy pod straight away?
Yeah. You know what? These guys have been patient. These guys have been waiting. Fuck you, Patreon.
No. No, we'll have figured all that out by the time you're hearing this, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but
and if it went to Patreon first, that's because we always respect the patrons.
And we've always shown nothing but the utmost respect to the Patreon members.
Maybe we make it a shorter window. Maybe they get it for like a week and then we put it out.
Or maybe we just put it out.
Yeah, we'll just fucking put it out.
We'll figure it out.
We shouldn't make decisions when we're excited to be back, Nathan.
Anyway, have we said what we're here to discuss?
Well, it's no, we haven't. Well, I think I dropped Andor. It's Andor season 2. When did Andor 1 come out, and when did we do an episode on it?
Andor 1 came out in some time ago, a couple of years ago. I think.
Yeah,
I think it was 2023.
You're taking so long to answer this question despite not having a definitive answer.
I think it was 2023 it came out.
Okay.
But I might be wrong on that. I think, wait. No, it wouldn't have been. It would have been 2024.
2024?
No, 2022, I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
It'd have been November 2022, I think. Andor Season 1 came out. November 2022.
Okay.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and we did an episode.
September to November 2022.
Yes, well, of course, yeah, because it came out over multiple weeks, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
But we're here, Nathan. We're here to discuss Andor Season 2, a show that wrapped up a while ago now, but we're here now nonetheless.
Yes, well, you had a baby.
I did.
Whilst it was all going on, so
yeah,
great time for you to watch a show you don't know anything about and have never seen.
Well, hang on. Firstly, for a second, because you might be putting that on the wrong person. Because I know that for a fact it is you that's not seen Andor until this very moment.
Actually, I've seen all of Andor, and I've seen all of it before you did as well. So
that can't be true. But you are touching on something that is quite interesting. The fact that I had a baby, and then so many things came out. The Last of Us came out. Andor came out. Movies coming out. 28 years later has come out. Superman's coming out. Fantastic Four's coming out. The new Jurassic World is coming out. All movies I want to see, and all movies that I'm going to find very difficult to go and see because I have a baby.
Not me.
Yeah, I know, not you. But anyway, that's why it's late. I finally caught up on Andor, and then I had to wait like an extra week or so after, and now we're here to discuss it. What do you think, Nathan? General thoughts. That's what we typically do.
But you didn't catch up on Andor a week ago, though.
No. I caught up on Andor a while ago. Yeah. And then we decided we'd do all this. Which we should have decided a couple of weeks ago, and then it would have been fresher in my mind, not like a month old.
It's fine.
Yeah.
What are your general thoughts on Andor, Lawrence?
Dude, this is a great season of telly. I like this. I like there's season 1 was amazing, and it kind of shocked the world because Andor back in the day when Disney Plus shows were announced, Andor was the outlier that everyone smirked at. Andor was the one that
not me.
You were.
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare lie.
But I don't think anyone would have known that it would have been as well regarded as it would have been. Like
I didn't know it was going to be this, okay?
Yeah.
But I was never like, who asked for Andor, all right? Because I asked for every Star Wars
I know
show,
you.
Okay? So shut up.
But do you remember there was that like Entertainment Weekly cover or something where like it was Ahsoka, the Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, and then Andor, and everyone was like, Blood thinks he's part of the team to Andor, and it's
not me though. This is the thing. You say everyone, but firmly not me.
Definitely me.
Yeah, 100%.
I was looking at it like, who cares? I like Andor from Rogue One, but who gives a fuck?
And what a fool you are.
I know, egg on my face, you might say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Man, this is good. I think this is fucking. It returns Star Wars to its roots. It's like political commentary regarding real world, timely events that are currently happening. You know, original.
What do you
trilogy.
mean return Star Wars to its roots, Lawrence?
Like the whole like Vietnam and America.
Because I'm gonna get wanky about this. I'm gonna get defensive and annoying.
I know you are.
This.
I already know because we're recording something about Star Wars, and God forbid a nuanced opinion comes across Nathan's desk.
No, it's not a nuanced opinion though.
But this is what a lot of people have referred to this as like bringing Star Wars back to. I would say the Filoni shows, and as much as there is a place for them, and I like a large portion of them, right? They definitely are a lot more interested in Star Wars characters and their lore, and the Mando 3 we watched as that became something that was a bit more Western vibed and a bit more experimental and different, and it devolved into a million. There's a Darksaber, and there's this planet's been doing this for fuck knows how long, and it became very lore centric towards the third season, and a lot of people were like, not sure if I vibe with that change, me included. But I think this is clear cut, like what it says on the tin. This is Star Wars.
I think the difference is Andor is about fascism all the time. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And every other Star Wars show and property, okay, it's about the same themes. The same political themes that you'll find in Andor, you will find in The Mandalorian. You will find them in Ahsoka. You will find them in Obi-Wan Kenobi. You will find them in The Bad Batch, okay?
Yeah.
They're not as fucking... I would say in your face as they are in Andor.
They're not the primary focus of those shows.
No, disagree. There's 100% the primary focus of The Bad Batch.
I haven't seen The Bad Batch.
Well, that's your fault, okay?
But I'm obviously not talking about The Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch is absolutely a show about the rise of fascism, probably more so than Andor, because it's dealing with it more directly at the direct start of the Empire, like the immediacy of post-Clone Wars straight after Revenge of the Sith. You know, it's the rise of the Empire, how people accepted and adopted this fascist regime so quickly, okay? That's 100% what The Bad Batch is about, okay?
Andor's more about the birth of the rebellion as opposed to the birth of the fascist regime,
Yes, but dealing very much head on with the fascist regime and how you survive and overcome it in this world. All I'm saying is, I get angry and annoyed and grumpy and defensive when people say this is the for lack of a better phrase, the good one, or the political one, because they're all political.
Yes,
it's all there, brother. Okay, sure, there might be some other stuff you don't personally enjoy, and that's absolutely fine. We can talk about that. But to say that this messaging isn't in the other stuff is just wrong. I'm sorry, but it is.
No. Like, well, you are right in saying that it's in Andor is far more at the forefront. Like you say, it's because it's about that fascism and the fascist regime and the birth of the rebellion as its core plot point. Like, it's obviously going to be dealing with it more head on than like shows that are dealing with like Obi-Wan and Anakin. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, its primary focus is to tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi since Order 66, what he's been getting up to, and Anakin, and how their stories intertwine again some 10 years later. and the backdrop is the fascist empire and everything else. It's not it's less focused on that immediately, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You get so skeptical. You're very on the you're very ready to pounce at me. I can tell.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think of this show? This season, Nathan?
I think it's great. I think it's an amazing show. I think it's so very well made.
Yeah.
It's a really great in-depth look at the the birth of the rebellion and how and how it all came together and stuff, and all the chessboard pieces coming together.
Yeah.
And some of the, like, I think I said it at one point to you in a text, like, I think after I was hit with the double punch of the Gorman massacre, followed by the Mothma's speech episode. That I was hit, I was like, I think I've just watched the best 2 episodes of TV of my entire life.
You did. You very much hyped them up for me. Yeah. And that made me go like, I'm gonna put this baby down real quick and catch up on Andor.
Yeah. It was very intense and incredible, and to say I had fun with it is difficult, because it was honestly difficult to watch at times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I think it's really interesting how a lot of the conversation around Andor has been like, oh, Tony Gilroy's clearly saying this. It's clearly, a reaction to Trump and everything like this. And there is some unfortunate parallels that you can draw between what's happening in Andor and what's happening in our real modern world that we live in. But I think, and Tony Gilroy has said this as well, this was all written 5 years ago.
Yes,
okay?
yeah.
This was written. None of this is necessarily a reaction to Trump or anything like that. It's more so, and this is extremely depressing, it's more so that this just keeps happening.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
That these things will and often do repeat themselves. The wheel keeps on turning, and fascism, they rose about in the, not for the first time, but it rose about very prevalently in the 30s and 40s, obviously, with Hitler and the Nazis and everything like that, and it's starting to rear its head again, and it's just unfortunate that those parallels are being drawn once again, really.
I think something that is so interesting about this is that, like, there's, I don't know behind the scenes whether there's a part of Tony Gilroy that's like, because look, I'll be honest, for the reception of his show to go down well, right, this is excellent timing. Terrible things that are happening in the world, right, but this is it's a good time for this show to be out, to be making the points it's making, because it is shedding light on some things and making some uncomfortable conversations a bit easier to have, because you can reference a pop culture standing point, which is interesting. But also I like that Tony Gilroy's approach to writing it is very much like, I'm really interested in what happens in these fascist regimes. I'm really interested in this wheel of oppression that, like you say, keeps spinning. Like, he's very, very interested in that as a person, and all of his interviews, you can tell. Like, when he defended a certain choice in one of the early episodes regarding an assault of a character that is very hard to watch, he was like, I'm not shying away from it. This shit fucking happens. And if you don't think it happens, then you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I think I quite admire quite a refreshing, harsh viewpoint on these things, treating adult themes with the respect that it deserves, and hoping that an audience is mature enough to understand them, which in Star Wars could go either way, to be honest.
Oh yeah, massively it can do.
Yeah.
Should we kind of do it arc by arc?
Yeah, I guess so. There'll be some that I'm a bit shakier on, because obviously they're the ones that I think it's all good stuff, but there'll be ones that captivated me less and I might need a bit of a refresh on. But we can definitely go arc by arc. That's the easiest way to talk about the characters and their progression, I think.
Yeah, because it all dropped. I watched it arc by arc. It all dropped. You watched it in whatever random order you wanted to, but like,
yeah, there was sometimes where I watched the end of an arc and the start of an arc, and I was like, this feels wrong.
That's so crazy, brother. So people were like, oh, I don't like the release schedule for Andor.
They're
it's
wrong.
Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, no, you're so wrong. It's great. It's because every week I just had a movie to watch. You know? That was it. Every week I had a movie. I watched 3 episodes of Andor. It was like a 2-hour movie or whatever that I could watch every week. It was great. I loved it, man.
I know that this is in a landscape where TV is experimenting with the like different release dates and like how to drop stuff, and I will say some of them are interesting. The only ones I'm aggressively opposed to are the half-season drops, and then you wait 2 months for the rest of the other half of the season. I'm like,
I think that's a Netflix thing mostly.
Yeah, to be like, don't just do a free trial on us.
Yes, but also because they started the binge thing. They started here's all the episodes all at once, and for a while we was all like, oh, this is sick. But now everyone's kind of been like, I don't know about this, Chief. This is not necessarily how we actually like to watch.
This is bad and always has been bad, and we always thought it was bad.
But now Netflix is like, oh fuck, people don't like binging stuff now anymore. So now they're trying to have like the best of both, and probably because they just haven't finished the show as well.
Yeah, the half and half. I fucking hate the half. Why do you get me excited for a show and then go wait for it now? Like, that's the way I have to watch stuff because of the baby, and I fucking hate watching shit like that. It's really annoying.
Well, you gotta wait for it.
I know. I tell you what, though, I do like, although I wasn't able to enjoy it this time around, I do really appreciate the dropping of the arcs. Like that, it just seems like a smart way to do it. Tell a story, and also it makes the week-long wait justify the time skip that happens in between, because this is a story spanning 4 years.
Yeah. Every arc is another year past.
Yeah, which makes sense. You kind of feel like
I have some criticisms about. Really, because I don't know if it was necessarily. Because the idea was, just to get into a bit of background for those who don't know, the idea was initially it was planned to be 5 seasons. The show was planned to be 5 seasons.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
too many seasons.
And that's exactly what Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna said. Like,
yeah.
That's too many seasons. This will kill us. Okay.
Diego Luna's going to be like fucking 70 by that point.
And it was supposed to be each season would be a year in the run up to Rogue One. Basically, each season would be a different year. And they were like, "Look, that's not." Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna said that's not necessarily feasible. They kind of worked it out, and so they came back with, "We're just going to do 2 seasons, and season 2 will be each year will be each arc, each 3 episodes will be a year of their life in the run up to Rogue One." So what is an arc in season 2 would have been a full season, basically.
That's it's such a crazy choice that was the original plan, because they would have had to have spent, like, there would have been so much fat chewing. They would have had to thin this down.
I'm not saying that 3 episodes would balloon out to 12. Okay.
Oh, they would have interjected.
There would have been additional stories and stuff, I'm sure, amongst them. I'm not saying it's just these stories over 12 episodes. Okay.
But then I feel like the pace of Andor is so, like, is so intelligently handled, because it is no fat. It is like, you get used to seeing a certain character and you get used to their dynamics, and then they go, fuck you, it's been a year, shit's changed, catch up.
You see, you can see as that. I can kind of see as a criticism, because there's stuff where, like, the end of the first arc ends with Brasso dying, and we move on from that. And I'd very much like to see, like, the way the arcs end and stuff. They end in like a big kind of explosion sort of way, like, and this is how it ends, boom, credits, whatever, then we go on, and then we pick up a year later next week and stuff, and it's like, we don't really get to see any of the consequences of that. We don't get time. We don't get time to sit and digest and deal with the consequences, the fallout, the ramifications, and how this affects the people that we care about and everything like that. And you can say that that's like fat trimming and it's just getting to the meat of it, and it absolutely is, but it's also missing out on some good and interesting storytelling, I think.
You're right, to be fair. There is an element I think it's a pros and cons thing, isn't it? Like, pros is it's fast moving, it keeps up, it's telling you stories that you want to see. But the cons, I guess, would be, like Brasso's death, there are some things that you miss. I would have, something that I was a little bit disappointed by was, I don't know why, but I just had a real itch to scratch where I wanted to see, after Mon Mothma's speech and her kind of defection from Coruscant, right? I really, really, really wanted to see, like, the family fallout of that. I wanted to see what her, shithead husband.
Claire and Perrin.
Well, that stuff. But then, like, I just kind of wanted to. I wanted to see like how the ISB would fucking interrogate
Not
them.
Claire.
Not Claire, her daughter. I know who.
Leda?
I don't know. Ladle of soup.
Sure.
But no, Claire's Luthen's daughter. To sort of, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Assistant.
Yeah. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to see that kind of fallout because in season 1 they build up brilliantly to like, although Perrin is a shithead, right? He's being aggressively framed by Mon Mothma just as a fool guy, like a scapegoat for her like kind of betraying of the Empire. So it would have been nice to like have that, because there's the whole bit in the car where she's like,
there's the gambling thing, but
stop gambling, and he's like, I'm not, and she's like, you are definitely you are.
I don't think he's been aggressively framed. All right, I don't think the whole point of all of that is I don't think any of that is decisions Mothma is taking lightly, you know?
No.
I don't think at any point is she like, yeah, I'll fucking set up my husband and fucking get rid of everything like this, you know?
No, but the end result's the same, isn't it?
The end result is the same, but I don't think she's aggressively like going for, yeah, we're gonna set this cunt up as the fucking
there's not malice in it, but it is it is very much like, you know, if things had gone a little differently, Perrin would have been fucking dragged into the street and shot. Like she did deliberately put him in harm's way to save her own skin, which is, you know, a big choice for her to make, and she grapples with it.
Did she?
Yeah, definitely.
Did she?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't.
You don't? Why not?
No. In what way did she put him in harm's way?
By setting him up for the whole like the gambling thing to like essentially scapegoat the money.
And that's a cover story though.
Yeah, one that put him in harm's way. Like there's no one that wouldn't believe her husband wasn't in on it.
It doesn't put him in harm's way though, because what's that saying? That's a cover story for the money going to like fucking Luthen or whatever or wherever it's going.
Yeah.
It's giving the Empire, the ISB, an explanation. They're seeing it as, oh, Perrin's pissed it away at the fucking casinos. That's it. Case closed. It's not Perrin's secretly involved in the fucking rebellion and he's been doing this. It's Perrin's just pissed it up the wall on the fucking slots.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. There is a part of me that think the ISB wouldn't, like, because they're shown to be in the first season, less so in the second season, quite competent with following up things. Like But
what is there to follow up though?
Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Yeah.
It's not at this point. It's not a trail that they're actively pursuing. You
can't track down gambling money because it's just money that pisses into the ether.
It's gone to the casino. You know? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Take your point. Yeah.
I win.
Ding for Nathan. Well done.
A win for me.
All right. So do you want to? You were like we said. Do you want to go arc by arc then? So we start off with the kind of Cassian stealing his TIE fighter and the rebels, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So he steals a TIE. Is it a TIE Interceptor? He steals
an Avenger. I thought it was
a TIE Avenger.
Maybe.
A TIE Avengers Assemble.
A TIE Avengers Assemble. Avengers Endgame.
TIE. Oh yeah, it is a TIE Avenger.
Was it? Oh my god, I got something right about spaceships in Star Wars.
Well done.
That's not normally my strength.
Yeah, so he steals a TIE Avenger, which is seeming like some kind of prototype TIE fighter the Empire is working on.
Yeah.
We don't really get any information about this. Like, we don't get what the mission is, what it's for, really, why Cassian's stealing this. Is it so the rebellion can use the TIE fighter? Is it so the Empire can't mass produce them? Is it like there's no sort of real explanation as to what it is? And, you know, that can be a plus or a criticism, really, depending on your view on it. But yeah, he's stealing this TIE Avenger. It is quite fun how he immediately shits the bed and just can't fly it. Like he's
well, they're infamously tough to fly, like TIE fighters.
No, not necessarily. The thing about TIE fighters is notoriously easy. They're cheap. They're mass produced. They have like no shields and stuff. They're quick and nimble and stuff. Yeah. But they're much more easier to fly than this, I believe.
Yeah.
And he immediately just like fucking crashes it into like a fucking gate as it's opening and shit, and just reverses and hits the wall. And stuff.
It is good that like people line up and they're like, he's like, yeah, you know, I kind of shit the bed with getting this out of here, but I've got an enormous turret, so I am just going to blow you up while I'm here.
That's very fun.
As an arc, I think this is probably the weakest of the season. But
Okay.
I also think it's kind of a necessary weakness because its primary focus is to reintroduce us to Cassian in his role, because the last we saw him, he was, giving Luthen a big cheesy grin and off they go to save the world together.
Yeah.
And in this one, it's showing you that, like, that saving
Well,
the world...
no, it wasn't. They had that kind of confrontation moment.
Well, yeah, but then when he's like, you can either kill me or you let me help, basically.
Yeah.
But I do think that there's an element to this which is mostly you need to establish one of the overall arcs of this entire season is that the rebellion needs organization if they're ever going to make any reasonable headway. Luthen's way of doing things is slowly losing effectiveness, and they need to plant a flag essentially and go, fuck you, we're here, we're fighting back, we're pushing against this. And I think this arc shows you that in that, like, there's a lot of rebel infighting. Cassian is able to, like, dupe a whole bunch of rebels just because he plays on how they're kind of stupid and disorganized and not really looking in the right direction. And I think that is interesting. I don't know if I maybe needed 2 whole episodes of it, but it's enjoyable. But for the rest of the stuff that comes later in the season, I think that it's probably the weakest of the arcs.
I'd probably. Yeah. You see, I'd say the Yavin stuff is probably the weakest, but then the wedding on Chandrila and stuff, I think is really, like, quite thematically rich and stuff.
Yeah,
and I really enjoy everything that's going on there. I have some criticisms about the Yavin stuff, like, and I think this is a bit of a criticism across the whole series as well. I like Star Wars to be weird and fun, okay? Yeah. And Tony Gilroy is like, there can be no weird aliens.
Everyone's a human.
Everyone's a human, okay? Everyone's a human, don't worry about it.
Apart from that one, there is one bizarre moment it breaks that, because I agree with you. But then there's the moment where Clea's doing the fucking, like, hospital infiltration. And she's just in a lift with some fucking slug or some random thing.
Some, like, grandma slug or something.
Yeah. Which is, like, just caught me so off guard. And I'm like, only Star Wars could make this work.
But that's part of the DNA of Star Wars for me. Like, you need these weird little aliens. And I think part of, like, it's very clear that there's no aliens on the Empire. The Empire is all humans because they're a fascist regime. They're racist, okay? Yeah. There is no fucking bug-eyed aliens and slugs and shit. They won't accept that. They just have humans because that's who they are. So that's why it's more interesting, and I think you should see these different species and characters on the rebellion side. So to just see different humans all the time, it's a bit naff, really.
Yeah, it is. I think that if I could critique Tony Gilroy, he is afraid of a certain different version of Star Wars. And I've always said this to you. There was something, I think it might have been on the Andor thing, the Andor first episode that we did. Where you did say that, like, this has its place, but not all Star Wars should be this Star Wars.
Yeah, and I think this is like, that's another thing. People often say, like, this ruins all of Star Wars because it all looks silly in comparison, and I'm like, but Star Wars is silly.
Yeah, and
Star
some of
Wars
it's for children as well. Like...
Yeah, exactly. Not all of Star Wars should be there. You can't show your son this.
No, I could no.
It'd be
not in a million years.
You can't sit your son down and show him the Gorman Massacre, okay?
I could. I'd just be a really bad dad.
You can sit him down and watch Star Wars Rebels. That's great. Have a great time, you know.
But I think there's like an element of, like, people compare, like, the ruthlessness and the cruelty and the harshness of the ISB in this season, and how, like, there is an ongoing theme that the fascist boot comes for you all eventually, regardless of how useful you are. The second your need is expunged, you're done. That's greatly explored. But then it comes to how fucking in, like, the sequel trilogy, it's a lot more slapstick in a way. It's a lot more like Hux is weaving in and out of like what they make fucking spying look like.
But so is the original trilogy.
Yeah,
though,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not making the argument that it's a bad thing or it doesn't diminish it. I'm just saying it's always been this. It's always been this kind of, depending on the tone or the thing, right? Right. Compare what Hux was doing in Rise of Skywalker and what Lonnie are doing in this season. They're the exact same thing. They're leaking information to the rebellion. Yeah. Right. One is literally a goof and a gag, and the other one is the saddest shit you've ever seen in your life. So it's just, it depends on who handles it and stuff. But yeah, you can't, like, having a consistent tone throughout like 10 fucking movies and like however many TV shows, like that's just gonna get really boring, really old, really quick. And the part of the enjoyment of Andor is the fact that this is refreshingly different.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nice that Star Wars is different and can cater to different tastes and everything like that. Like, but Star Wars is for everyone. There's no need for it to be all super serious in this all the time. You know?
I will say, hiring Tony Gilroy has made me yearn for different voices in Star Wars. I think there is it's Tony Gilroy and a lot of Dave Filoni. And I think there is one of my, like, we've spoken about loads of his shows on this show. And I always have the same criticism that I think he makes Star Wars for a very specific type of Star Wars fan. And if you don't fall into that category, it's kind of a little bit like, I don't care. You should have read a book. You should have caught up. Like, and I think that's a criticism I have of him. I would like to see, in the same way that we often say about Doctor Who, the same one man should not be the custodian of everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, which was the only thing that I can. Anyway, that's our aside for Gilroy and Filoni comparisons. But yeah, sorry. Getting back to this arc. So like, you don't necessarily think it might be the weakest, but you do have criticisms. Is what you were saying?
No, I do think it is the weakest. Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. It is the weakest, I think, but I do really enjoy the stuff on Chandrila.
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
The stuff with Mon Mothma and the wedding and everything like that. I think that's all really, really interesting, and the way it all cultivates in, like, you know, Mon realizing. I really liked the character of what's his name? The banker guy. I can't remember his name.
I know who you mean. He's in The Crown.
Is he in The Crown?
Yeah, he's Peter.
Who's
something
in The Crown?
He's like in the first season, Vanessa Kirby's fella.
Oh, the soldier dude.
Yeah, the soldier who's like the assistant, and then they're like, you can't marry him, and he's like, oh, okay. I know exactly who you mean. Was his name Peter in the show?
Well, as long as it's Peter.
Is it not
in
Peter?
Andor?
In Andor, yeah. Let me find out.
It's definitely not Peter.
It might not be Peter. It might be Peter in The Crown.
It's definitely not Peter.
Let me find out Andor season 2 cast. He is. Oh, where's this guy's fucking face? I know exactly who you mean. Mon Mothma's friend. That he kind of gets the hump of not being given every detail, so he starts threatening her thinly.
Yeah. He's like in the first season, he was very much on board and stuff, and he was you know, sympathetic to her plight, and he was on board, and he seemed like a genuinely good character. But now, like, the second stuff doesn't go in his way, and the second he's not benefiting from the arrangement, then it's just all up the wall. And I love the moment of Mothma realizing this cunt's got to go, you know, like this it can't, you know,
it will unravel here and now with him.
Exactly. Like, Luthen's got to fucking do what Luthen does and take care of the situation.
That's such a fun episode. His name's Tay Colmer, by the way.
Tay Colmer, yes, that's it.
And Peter is just entirely made up because his actual name is Ben Miles, so I have no fucking idea where I got Peter
where
from.
he got Peter from. Yeah. Is that his character in The Crown?
Maybe it's his character in The Crown. Maybe, I don't know. But I do like that episode a lot because it is essentially... like it's a weird thing because like Tay will be in the middle of a dance floor, right? Luthen will be on one side, like, and you'll see him engaging in a bit of like, ha ha ha, I'm this guy, like a bit of buffoonery and stuff. And then someone will walk past Luthen and they won't have his eye contact for a second, and he'll just shoot Tay the filthiest stare, like, can't wait to put this cunt down in 5 seconds. and Mon Mothma's on the other side of the room, always being like, gotta separate these two, because he could just inject him with something and be done with it. Like,
I love the duality of Luthen. Is such a...
It's fucking great, yeah.
It's such a... It must be so fun for... I always get the Skarsgårds confused. Is it Stellan?
This is Stellan, yeah.
This is Stellan, okay. It must be so fun for Stellan Skarsgård to play the, like, the one moment it's like... Ha, ha, ha. Like, I love... I know we're not talking about it yet, but the final arc when Dedra comes into the store.
Oh, my God,
and he's just like... Do you know how happy I am that you showed up here today? And,
his accent makes it better as well, doesn't it?
It really does. Yeah, it's so good.
Cassian Andor.
And then compare that to the every day I sacrifice a piece of my soul for a sunset I'll never see, and all this, and some of the most hauntingly beautiful and terrible lines you've ever heard, and everything like that. It's so great. I love that duality.
He's one of Star Wars' most fascinating characters because he is so. He's everything is on the line. Everything is a performance, and then the moment the veil slips, and like one of my favorite moments in this whole thing is how he gets stuck in a room with Krennic for like half an hour, right? And then he's like the entire time he's like, I've got this collection coming in, ha ha ha, like they're all having a good, and they're laughing about like really kind of offensive jokes and stuff like that, and then he's leaving, and he turns to Claire and goes, "We should have just fucking killed him." it's like, yeah, man.
And they both have a little laugh about that.
Yeah, that's their joke. Yeah.
Probably the first genuine laugh they've both had in the entire show as well, you know?
Because they're both like, yeah, man, that was a great opportunity. I wish we could have just fucking killed that cunt. Yeah.
I don't think it was a great opportunity.
No.
I think there would have been some serious ramifications if at this party where a lot of Imperial officers are present, they just killed Orson Krennic. Okay?
It would have been fucking... they definitely shouldn't have done it, but I also think that speaks to just like throughout, like towards the end of this season, they get so careless because it's so close to the finish line for them, right? And that's something that I quite enjoy as well. The show knows it's getting close to the finish line. The characters also know that like we can't go on like this. Like the show and the characters in the show know that this is the last season of Andor, if that makes sense.
Yeah. They're on a farm. They're all on a farm. They're like, hey, we're on a farm and we're harvesting wheat or whatever.
Yeah, we're doing some wheat stuff.
And B2 Emo's here, all right?
Well, he's here and then he stays there forever.
And then he stays there, with that lady. But yeah, Brasso dies. That was quite sad.
Brasso dies. That was
quite brutal. I think it was quite interesting how, because there's a few like characters who are like big characters. Amazon 9 stops away. I'm tracking you, okay? There's a few like big characters who are like, you know, big characters from season 1, and in this they unfortunately meet their ends, and it happens a few times where the death is kind of, it's nothing. It's almost insignificant. It feels like it's kind of like done a bit of a disservice to the character, but I feel like that's entirely the point, you know, like you don't always get this big ceremonious death, you know, in war, in fascism. It is unfortunately the case that not all stormtroopers are bad shots, you know. Sometimes these are soldiers for a reason. Sometimes a stormtrooper is just going to pull that trigger. Yeah. And unfortunately, Brasso, he got hit. He died.
It. Yeah, I think that's something that, because I felt the exact same way, so I'm glad you brought that up. That I was sat there thinking, like, Brasso forever has a place in my heart for just twatting a stormtrooper, holding a brick in the air and going,
yeah. I love Brasso so much. He's great.
Yeah, it's cool. Character. And also, like, you're warm to him from the first episode of the first season when Andor needs something from him. He's begrudgingly like, you came over. You insulted my drink or whatever. Like, and you can tell, like, everyone in, what's that place called? Ferrix, is it called?
Ferrix is the planet he's from,
Everyone in Ferrix, as the show shows you that they have a special connection to one another. Like, even Andor's late with his TIE fighter and he still stops by to go and just blast some cunts out the sky to save his mates. Like, it's a really, really, like, it's sad that he is kind of unceremoniously just dispatched of. And I think that, like we said earlier, that one of the downfalls of the show is I would have liked to have seen a bit of a reaction from people about that. But at the same time, man, that's just what it is. Like, these characters live dangerously and they're not all going to make it out, because how could they?
It's a great ending to the arc with Mothma just fucking cutting loose. Like, kind of just having that moment of like, look, everything's gone to shit. My daughter's hates me. She's married to a fucking idiot. Okay, she's gone down this path. I've got to be cold and cut my entire family off now and everything like this. I'm about to dive headfirst into, you know, a mission and a cause which may cost me my life and may cost the lives of several other people around me. So I guess I'm just gonna fucking drink and dance the night away and not think about any of that for now.
And it cuts so much harder knowing that, like, it shows you where Mon's priorities are, right? Because a last conversation she had with her daughter, or like one of the last before this scene anyway. It details how, like, Mon Mothma was furious with her own mother for just getting drunk and making a spectacle of herself the night of her wedding. Yes. And then she does the exact same fucking thing. And 100%. That song, dude,
on Nemus, the club remix.
So the club, there's something about the fact that it's the club remix is just ridiculous. But I remember in season 1 came out, I thought Star Wars has never sounded like this. Star Wars sounds fresh and really fucking interesting in this. And I looked it up, right? And excuse me for getting wanky for a moment, right?
I'll get wanky about the music myself. I got some notes on this.
Hell yeah. I just think that like it wasn't in the second one, but the first season had Nicholas Britell scoring it. And he is the composer of Succession.
Oh, okay.
A score which I very much like that utilizes a lot of the same tracks over and over to great
Do
effect.
I remember the score of Succession?
Well, you...
Bum, 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 bum.
I don't know what that is.
Is that not Succession?
No.
Bum, 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 bum,
Oh, there's a couple of bumbling tracks in Succession.
Is that not the main theme?
No, no, there's no. What you're doing is just singing a different song whilst I'm singing the Succession one and going, same thing.
I think they're the same.
No, they're not.
I don't know.
But anyway, is it Nemos, the track, the club remix
Nemos,
one?
yeah.
It's just a great piece of music, and like also the imagery of Mon Mothma just fucking spiraling. Like her entire life is unraveling, and she's like, "Fuck it, I don't care who's looking now. I'm just gonna go for it."
With the music, I think it's really interesting how the first season the music is very like technical and electric and very techno beats and like the Niamo song and everything like that. And the second season very much starts off like that. But I was listening to I don't know who it was. I was listening to some interview, and it was either Tony Gilroy or the composer, or maybe both of them talking about it. And like the idea behind it was Rogue One very much has that like Star Wars music feel, that John Williams-esque orchestral sort of vibe. Is it Gino who did
I don't know. It's not John Williams. I know that.
No, it's Michael Giacchino who did the score for Rogue One.
Oh, really? Is it?
Yeah, it's Giacchino who did the score for Rogue One. Fucking great composer, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, and the idea behind the score for season 2 of Andor is that it starts off still very technical and stuff, but as the show goes on, it slowly kind of morphs and changes into that kind of orchestral feel. So much so that by the end, when you have that final scene of Cassian walking through the rebel base, it is that very much that same sort of feel, that quite orchestral, that quite classic Star Wars feel, as opposed to what we got. And I think it was really well done.
It was, the slow transition of it into like it's not a thing of like they're earning the Star Wars tone or the feel or whatever, but it is very much, it's like it's highlighting a progression thing. Like the first time you see Cassian Andor, right, in season 1, right, he's shooting cops and he's in a brothel. And and it's a darky, grim underworld. It's pouring with rain. It's disgusting. It's beautiful to look at because it's gorgeous cinematography. But it's seedy and it's underworldy, and it feels more. The music feels more like electric in a way that's like this is scrappy. This is not very quite come together. Yeah, and by the end of it, the orchestra, everyone works in tandem. Yeah, it's really really well handled. Yeah, for sure.
So Arc 2, it's a year later. Cassian and Biggs now seemingly living on Coruscant in a little safe house there. Biggs is going through it, man. Biggs is. I mean, this we didn't really touch upon it, but I don't think there's much we necessarily need to go into. But there is obviously the sexual assault that happens with Biggs, but she's also still heavily reeling from the fucking torture she went through with the hands of Dr. I'm a cunt in the first season.
Doctor screaming dead whale kids.
Doctor fucking non-sky, whatever his face is.
Yeah.
And it's she's obviously having a quite hard time, like fucking wrestling with all that and stuff. What else is going on in Arc 2?
I can't wait. Which is Arc 2? I'm getting...
Arc 2. Cyril's on Gorman.
This is Cyril's starting to go to start the French Resistance.
Yeah, so Cyril's on Space France. Yeah. Okay. And
Viva the Empire.
I think it's so well done because when the arc starts and like Cyril is like he's talking to his mother on the phone and you see him like, oh, you've been watching too much Imperial News and she's like being like, oh, glory to the Empire, and he's like, no, I don't know if it's this. I'm like, Cyril?
Yeah.
What is happening? I'm like,
Defecting Cyril?
Cyril, are you? And then he goes to like the resistance meetings and everything like this, and I'm like, what is Cyril redemption arc?
Yeah.
Maybe, but no,
They're way cleverer than that.
Yeah, they're cleverer than that. And then you get the reveal that he's going undercover, and he's so excited by it as well. Like the way they like, I'm pretty sure someone's breaking into my apartment, and then once that's confirmed, he's so excited by the fact that like someone is. I also love that. I think it's possibly a fun callback into the first season as well. You know, when he's eating breakfast with his mother, and he's like, I know you've been going through my secret box.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a way of knowing. Okay, clearly he's done the little twine thing the same way. Which is very fun.
It's great. It got me as well. At first, I was like, initially, it was a knee jerk. Like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if I can watch Cyril be redeemed. I don't really care.
I was for it, man. I was for it. I was, yeah.
Wow. Okay. It just shows fucking different interpretations and stuff. But yeah, the where Cyril like started out, and then it's very quickly revealed that like Cyril is just like he's the best, right? Because he's not a one-to-one counterpart for like just fucking incel culture, right?
No,
but they take aspects of it that really make you go like, yeah, this guy has been consistently devalued his entire life. He is actually somewhat effective if you give him a job to do.
Yeah,
he can get it done, as seen. Like, I think there's a lot of instances in this season specifically where he defies an expectation of him, right? Even if it's like having a fist fight with Andor and holding his own, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, he's capable, but he's been consistently devalued. So the second he gets the tiniest bit of responsibility, he tries to overprove himself. And he's got this kind of mentality that like, if he's not seen as valuable by his employers, then he doesn't know where his self-worth comes from.
I think it's a good sort of depiction of like how people can be so willing to go down the kind of like alt-right path and be so devoted to it whilst not realizing the regime and the people they're so devoted to are just completely using them. Like they will drop you at the fucking instant it becomes too much.
There's a million Cyrils.
Yeah, there's 100%. Cyril is one of a million of us.
And he thinks I'm this valuable
He thinks
player.
he's the special one.
Yeah.
He thinks he's standing up. He's doing what's right for the cause. He thinks he's the hero. He thinks he's Luke Skywalker.
He's going to get a medal from Palpatine at the end of this.
Exactly.
He knows it.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, but it's so interesting. I really do. I enjoy all the stuff. And I think Gorman as well, it's so interesting. I don't know if you know this. So the Gorman massacre is a thing from Star Wars canon. That's like something that we've known about for a while.
Is it mentioned in Rebels, I think?
It is mentioned in Rebels, because we see there's a bit of Mon Mothma's speech that we see in Rebels, which has changed a little bit from how we see it in Rebels, obviously. But in Mon Mothma's speech before she leaves the Senate and joins the rebellion full time and stuff, she talks about the massacre on Gorman and calls Palpatine responsible and everything like that.
Yeah.
But even before that, it was in books and stuff, and so the original Gorman massacre was Tarkin landing a Star Destroyer on a group of protesters on Gorman. That's what the Gorman massacre was.
Oh my god!
And so they took that and they added it into the show. That's a previous Gorman massacre. That's a history. Like, they have the monument in the town square to the people of Gorman, where Tarkin just fucking leveled his ship and destroyed them all, and that's why there's this big anti-imperial sentiment on Gorman because of what Tarkin did. And it's really interesting. It's really well done how they kind of took canon and reworked it to fit their story, but also still keeping what came before and still paying homage to it and everything like that. It's really well done and really interesting, and just the kind of production and design work for Gorman. I mean, the sets are beautiful, obviously, like the fucking real world sets and everything like that. It's so well done. But then the work that went into the language and everything, and you're like, are they fucking speaking French? And then you're like, no, that's not. It sounds like French, but it's not quite French.
It's got the stylings of French.
It's like very clearly based linguistically on French. Okay, but it's it's not. It is a made up language, and it's so well done, because obviously it's very clearly like taking inspiration from like French resistance vibes, like of the Nazi occupation of Paris and everything like that, and like even down to the way the Gormans dress, it still has that like very 1930s sort of vibe to it all.
There's the underground secret meetings, kind of like it all feels very underworld, kind of like 1940s France. Yes,
it's all very French resistance-esque, and it's which is quite intentional and very well done. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Really.
I do too, and I think it also a testament to the people. This is a fucking age-old thing. Like it's as old as fucking time itself, this argument. But there will always be a special place in my heart for the commitment to practicality. Like this looks phenomenal, and there's a reason it looks phenomenal, and the reason is that the camera can move and go around. And look, the volume. I will never shit talk the volume, but you have to know how to fucking use the goddamn volume.
And there's limitations to the volume as well.
There
like,
is,
Like there's I think there's a amazing scene in the first arc where I think we see Chandrilla for the first time, and it's just the camera following Mothma around as she
meets various
guests.
people.
She meets various guests, but it's just a one shot, and she's walking all around this fucking enormous set, greeting various people and stuff, and we get to see not all of Chandrilla, but like a decent portion of Chandrilla, and it looks beautiful and stuff. And that's obviously not possible on the volume and stuff. So
there are limitations to it, but I also think like if you use the volume as if it's green screen, right, you can tell it actually looks worse than green screen.
Because if it's just a flat backdrop, then you're not doing yourself any favors.
And that's like I'll stop kicking it eventually, I promise. But like there are like there's an element of like Mando 3 that genuinely I just was like, this is the ugliest fucking shit I've seen in a while.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, Nathan, it's time for some ads. Let's do ads. We're back from ads.
Yay!
Nathan also got a package delivered.
Yeah, I did.
What'd you get?
Don't worry about it.
I want to know.
You do know.
Yeah, but I want the people to know.
It's a game, all right? Shut up.
What game?
Shut up. Anyway, what's going on?
Cooking Mama 2, no doubt.
Yes, it is. Okay. What's happening?
I don't know. Where were we? We were in the middle of something, and then we weren't.
I think we were talking about Space France.
Oh yeah, Space France. Yeah, it's a good arc.
Yeah.
It's a good. I like.
Very much so.
I like the slow build up of Cyril just like infiltrating, the misdirect of him kind of being like, I'm there to, like even his mum's like, it's an insult that they've sent you there. They've sent you like you're riding a desk. It's a desk job, and it's all intentional so that he can be seen by the Gormans as like this guy that's kind of like losing his patience with the Empire. And like it's gonna defect, and like even the little things like when they like bug his office, he's like, oh, just another disruption to the workday. God, the Empire sucks.
He really gets to again like play the hero to like everyone in his office. Like, this is my office. Okay, you can't come in here and do everything like that. Really like standing up to everyone, but the whole thing, just an act so clearly just
which. It's something about Cyril's story that I quite appreciate, because he has been shown to be such a yes man, and then the second he gets validation, he'll stick to that person like glue.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there's the moment like he goes back to Coruscant, and there's the weird moment he has with Dedra where they clearly have some weird sex before.
Turn out the lights
before they go to like brief Partagaz about it. The head of ISB. But then they're talking to Partagaz, and it's like very like just a really not that intense conversation at all. Like it's very sort of run of the mill. But afterwards, Cyril is like, this is the greatest moment of my life.
Yeah, like, wow, dude. Bless him indeed. But I do appreciate about his arc that it's like I only really feel like towards the end of the show he becomes disillusioned with the Empire, because I don't think he would have had his eyes open to it if not for the validation he's been receiving from the Gormans. I think it subconsciously altered his mind a little bit to go, well, these guys like me, and I seem useful here. Even though it's completely bollocks, and it's all done under the guise of, like, he gets them all murdered. Like, there's no two ways about it. Cyril is absolutely crucial in his placement to the Gorman massacre, right?
100%.
I just think it's interesting that his not even redemption, his realization and his slow burn realization, he only allows himself to have because of another selfish need he has to be liked, and it's interesting.
That's more so the next arc. Yeah, we'll get to that, but I think it is. I'll talk about that more in the next arc.
Sure.
We also have Cassian goes to Gorman as well.
Yeah.
We get some like undercover spy Cassian stuff, which is quite cool.
I like it, man. I like it whenever he has to like kind of be a bit more. Being a flamboyant guy doesn't come naturally to him. Like he's clearly taking a leaf out of Luthen's book of like wearing like doing a silly voice and everything else. Which he's like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to show up and like speak in a language. And I get the opinion that Cassian has arrived there, and he's like, if it all goes to hell, at least I'll shoot my way out and it'll be fine.
I don't know. I think he's buying into it a little.
Do you think? Okay.
Yeah, because he's getting into character, isn't he? He's
I'm a painter or whatever he says.
He's a fashion designer.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, what's his character's name? I can't remember the name of the undercover thing, but it's quite. That whole thing is all quite Mission Impossible-esque. It
is a bit, yeah.
He gets the tape recorder in the voice of Sam Witwer going like, "You're from this planet.
Yeah.
You're making a pilgrimage to Gorman."
Oh yeah, because he keeps listening to it, doesn't he? Like
yeah.
He's like learning his backstory.
And they've got the code phrases, the "I have friends everywhere" and everything like that, and. Yeah, it's all quite Mission Impossible-esque sort of thing. But yeah, I like it. He goes to that hotel, meets the little bellhop and stuff, and that's where he
definitely
finds out
doesn't
about
buy it at all.
No, but that's where he finds out about like the initial Gorman massacre and stuff. And yeah, I think it's all right, interesting. I like seeing Cassian sort of play this dual role as well.
I do too, and I like how he kind of like it's a strange one because he does kind of like you can see that it's a good performance from Diego Luna because he walks around and you can see that he's trying to adhere to this kind of pompous I'm a man of society kind of vibe, and then there will be moments where you see the absolute fucking dog in Andor, just like he'll get to like just instinctively. It's great decisions because he'll walk to like there's a lot of pillars in Gorman around the town square. And every time he gets to one, he kind of like just in performance of body, kind of like pauses a little bit to assess the next steps that he's got to take. And there's great moments where like you just see that at every point he is fully aware that he is undercover and that if someone clocks it, he's gonna have to fight.
Yeah,
like and you don't see Andor leave him, but you do see him really make an effort to be like woo kind of thing.
I like the way like he kind of chastises that like. The Gorman spy he meets with at the cafe, because like they just have like a brief interaction, like fucking whatever your name is, I thought we were supposed to meet you tomorrow, and blah blah blah. They have like a little brief conversation. He's like, you could have just got your entire fucking family killed or whatever. You could have just got the entire resistance wiped out, all because of whatever one word you said or whatever. Like trust no one sort of vibes, which is. Yeah, and he's seasoned by this point. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, okay. He's been around the block a few times.
I like that he's not this season takes strides to make him less of a scrappy guy that gets quite lucky to like a guy that's like no, he's very proficient at espionage at this point. He knows how to weave in and out. Like even in the first arc, we didn't really talk about it a lot, but like there's a stealing the TIE fighter. There's this kind of Imperial pilot that is like giving off a bit of doubt. And so he just immediately turns on the charm and just starts like even like he sees the angle is like, oh, she finds me a bit attractive, I'll flirt with her. And he does, and it's so clear that she doesn't mean anything to him, but like he will do that just he'll find an angle and work it just so that the mission gets done.
I do like that scene because it also very much like gives off the vibe that she's about to die as well. She's very much so about to give up her life, and she's even, I think she knows that, and she's even questioning that now because she's like, is it worth it? And they have that conversation about the cause and everything like that, very much invoking sort of Nemec vibes as well. From the first season. But I do like that.
Inspiring the little people to push back in any way, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I do like that Cassian takes the time to do that as well. He's like it does show us kind of the difference between him and Luthen, because Luthen, I think, would have just straight up lied to her and been like,
"You'll be fine.
Blah, blah. You're a tool, you know. You're a tool that I'll use and then throw down a hatch or whatever."
Yeah,
you know? But,
I think if Luthen was there, it would have been she would have gone like, "I'm a little bit concerned about my place in this," and she turns around to look at like the wall, and Luthen just bang, just one in the back,
in the head. Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't risk her going on and on.
What else is happening in the second arc?
I don't know.
Is that the art show as well, where they have to do the little heist at the art show?
What's the heist at the art show?
Because where Clea and Lonnie, because the
oh no, that's towards the end. I think they want to take the bug out. Or something.
But Arc 2 though, isn't it?
Is it Arc 2?
I think so.
I thought that was closer towards the end. I thought that was like the third or fourth one. No, it's not the fourth. I thought it was the third. I don't know. I'm confused.
It's Arc 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is
the
Arc
planet
2.
that Luke was on.
What?
Is that Arc 2?
Oh, Arc 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
the
guess.
droid. Arc 2. Arc 2.
Yeah.
I'm doing Star Wars jokes, Nathan.
Yeah. It's episode 6, Arc 2. What a festive evening.
That's
where
it.
they go to the art show because they know one of the pieces is bugged somehow.
Yes.
So
they let it slip a couple of times that like this piece needs to be like reevaluated or something.
Yeah. And so Clea needs to get the little bug back before
it goes. Yeah. I tell you what, it's one of the most tense sequences in the entire fucking show. Like just Clea and Lonnie, and Lonnie's like from season 1, Lonnie has been like very brave but very clear with his intention. Like, I'm done. This is too scary for me and I hate it. Right. And I do think there's an element that like you see Clea start to really take the reins. I know that Tony Gilroy's been quite public in saying like there's a certain episode that will make you see that Clea has been the guiding hand of Luthen and Clea the entire time, contrary to popular belief. But seeing Clea and Lonnie as he's like, I've no idea what I'm doing, and she's like, just fucking smile, talk to me, move this way, cunt. Like, she's so effective.
I think that's clear in the first season though, because in the first season as well, she's not taking any shit. She does like 100% bark at Luthen.
Oh, she says like you're slipping or something. Your judgment is askew.
She's and to anyone as well. Like when she's talking to Val and stuff when they meet up and stuff, she's like, you very much get the vibe. I got the vibe that kind of she was in charge of the whole operation in the first season.
Oh, see, really. I didn't. I got it. I took it the wrong way.
Because you're sexist.
Yeah, I'm sexist. That's why it is.
Sexist. That's why. Yeah, a woman.
No, I think it's mainly just because Luthen is the harsher one of the two. Like I don't.
I think she's harsher than him.
Yeah, no, I see that in the second season. I didn't get that in the first one. That's not what came through to me. But then like hearing Tony Gilroy speak about it, of how like and obviously the episode that shows you the entire reason why Luthen's doing any of this. Yeah. Like that's very, very clear. But yeah, no, that's the art heist is a great moment. It is so tense because the sound mix is really well handled. I watched a lot of this with headphones in. I was really able to pay attention to a lot of this kind of stuff.
Oh, here he goes.
No, Jane, like it's not how I typically watch stuff, so I notice things that I don't normally notice. Right, fuck off.
No, that wasn't me. That was a text.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That won't even show up on the recording.
Oh, okay. There was a ding, and I thought he was cinema sensing me. But I do like the Krennic is present. Krennic is like the overlying vocal presence in the entire scene, because it's just they never stop reminding you that like fucking meters away from them, this could all be blown wide the fuck open if they get it wrong.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Krennic's great in this season as well.
God,
it's so much fun to see Ben Mendelsohn back, and you can tell he's having a lot of fun with the role as well. It's
the little the touch on the head thing as well.
Yeah, it's all so much fun. He's got there's a real air of confidence and smugness about him that like when we're back in the first arc when they're talking about like Gorman and the energy project and stuff like that, and he's clearly just bullshitting his way through it. Like, yes, I've told Tarkin all about this. Tarkin knows all about my proposal, and I spoke personally with the Emperor about this project and stuff, and just saying it with this air of smugness.
Yeah,
he's so good, Ben Mendelsohn. I love him so much.
He's so good, and I do like there's moments where he gets
Star Wars, mate.
I'm doing a Star Wars, mate.
I'm doing a Star Wars.
There are moments where he gets a bit more real with it as well. Like he's a fun, campy performance in this show that's quite realistic. But then there's other moments, like he has like a 2-minute scene with Partagaz that's just like, holy fuck. Like these two have a history, they know each other. And Krennic's just been like, you're dead, mate.
He even calls him by his first name.
Yeah, is it Leo? I think he says.
Yeah, Leo or something like that. Yeah.
It's a great scene. It's almost humanizing until Krennic walks out of the room and just continues to not care.
Yeah.
And you go like, fuck, dude, this will be you tomorrow. And it is him tomorrow.
It is, yeah. That's the I mean, we'll get to it, but the way it kind of like wraps up the Empire storyline and ISB stuff, putting everyone in their places and stuff, it's quite satisfying in a bleak way as well.
There's there's certain shots, especially there's one specific shot that you're just like, you deserve to be there. Like,
well, yeah. So yeah, Arc 2, bit of fun, good stuff. Ends in a with Bix getting her revenge on Doctor fucking...
Oh, just out of nowhere as well. Like...
Doctor fucking Nonce. We didn't really go into it, but she's got like an arc of her like really like going through it. She's taking death sticks at one point and everything, and she's like really clearly not having a good time, but... Yeah, and ends with her kind of getting her revenge on Doctor. I can't remember his name, but that fucking Doctor who tortured her in the first season.
Yeah, that gave her the sound of kids dying or something for torture. Yeah,
it's a great moment, and like she's just there in his office waiting for him when he gets there, and I know you, don't I know you?
Yeah,
like what's that line from the first season? The tree forgets, but the axe remembers, or something.
Something like I know what you mean. Yeah,
from Cousin.
Yeah,
like how like like these people who like fucking oppress you, it means nothing to them. They forget, but what they do, that sticks with them. That's always there.
Yeah, it's great, and it's also like it's slightly echoed later on in the season, the infamous "Who are you?" which has become a big season moment.
I think it's the axe forgets, but the tree remembers.
I know what you mean.
Sense.
Yeah. But like that moment of like something that means so much to someone is so easily forgotten by someone else, and boy will the show come around to that. I'd say the "Who are you?" is probably like kind of 1-to-1 with the "Never More Than 12" line of just like, oh my god, the impact of that is pretty crazy, and the implications going forward are crazier. I like Arc 2 quite a lot. I think I will say that I think from this point on the show is like ludicrously good. Like it's on a good level, but the back end of season 2 I think is pretty special stuff.
I think the third arc is clearly the best and most intense,
and the one they put the most work into, I think, as well.
Yes, I think it's quite well played. Well, I think they put a good amount of work into all of it.
No, but like the money's on screen here. Like the language, the sets, the sheer amount of extras, the camera work on display showing the brutality.
There's also the heist on Gorman as well, which Val and Cinta do as well.
Oh yes, that's very good.
That's in Arc 2 as well, which unfortunately results in Cinta dying again in kind of an unceremonious way, really.
Yeah.
Like just almost nothing to it once again.
And like friendly fire as well. Like literally takes an unnecessary shot for no reason. Yeah.
Yes, 100%, and not just because again this resistance wasn't like. Well, they weren't as well organized and stuff. They were told specifically not to bring any weapons. Val and Cinta were the only ones who had weapons, but this guy disobeyed, brought a weapon, and look what happened because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all really well done. I really love there's just one moment like where they take the whatever, I think it's like crates of weapons off the truck that they're getting. I think it's weapons.
Yeah.
And there's just one shot where like, again, just the filmmaking on display. You like it's a one shot of following the crate from taking it off the truck, pulling it on the little pallet mover thing, going it down the ramp through into the tunnel system, being picked up again, and then placed onto another truck all the way through.
Yeah,
really well done. Really fucking good stuff.
It's really well done, and I like it when shows do this because it's very clear to them going, look at this motherfucking set.
It's a big fucking look at my dick moment.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you thought there was walls behind us? Oh, you don't know where the camera is. You got no fucking idea. Yeah. Oh, you thought the camera was on the ground? Fuck you! It's a crane shot, motherfucker. Like.
It's great, yeah. It's really well done.
Yeah, it is.
I like it a lot. And again, like that is also kind of a reunion for Cinta and Val, only for that to be more heartbreaking as well. And yeah,
well,
quite tragic,
as really. Doctor Who fans, we're very much like we found a special place in our heart for Verida Sethu.
Not quite sure, to be honest.
Yeah, but
Sifu.
I would say Sethu. I think, yeah. But,
okay, I don't know. But yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, no, she's phenomenal in this, and she was great in season 1 as well. And Val's is it Val?
Val.
That and
Val.
Is it Val?
Val. It was Val or Val?
I gotta Google. Vel Andor. I'm going to say Google. Vel.
I think it might be Vel. I've always said it's Vel.
That's not true.
No, I've always said it's Vel.
But I like her. I always think Faye Marseille shows up and crushes whatever she's doing.
You don't know Faye Marseille. You don't know that she's in Game of Thrones.
I do know that she's in Game of Thrones. I
You
also
don't know that she's in Doctor Who.
Last Christmas in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's also in Adolescence.
Adolescence. You didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah, I did know that. I've known.
No, you
I
don't.
know Faye Marseille well.
No, you don't
right,
know.
we're friends.
You don't know who Faye Marseille is, and you don't know what Andor is. All right.
But I think she always adds an air of realism. I think there's something about Faye Marseille that she brings a really good like exhaustion to a lot of roles that she plays, where she's just like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah,
and that's really good. And it's nice.
She's got a sense of realness about her.
She does.
Really.
Yeah.
I think it's that northern accent.
I was about to say there is a northern charm to it that I think
Yeah.
like it lends a credence to this working class feel. I think.
Yeah, 100%. Not something you know.
No, not something I would know. No.
Never worked a day in his life.
Fuck's sake. But yeah, so that for Arc 2, yeah, I appreciate. But let's get into the meat. I think.
Yes, so Arc 3, boom, another year gone. By the way, I like that each it comes up.
You're right, Rosie.
Oh.
Oh, she's fine. Yeah, she was literally like that was so weird. I just looked over her and she was literally like.
Yeah, they do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Every now and then, you're not a pet owner unless you have at least one like, are you dead? Sort of.
That was
once in a
genuinely one of them. I
while.
was like, I've never seen her pull that face.
It happens once in a while.
Yeah.
It's fine. I quite like how the start of each arc comes up with this 1 year later X BBY, like 4, 3, 2, whatever BBY, indicating that a year's passed, and it's indicated it's hit with this like it's the bell ringer from season 1.
Yeah,
it's just showing the passage of time. I think that's quite interesting, quite cool. Well done. But yes, so the third arc, this is really where it gets into the meat of it. Although, again, another criticism, just in terms of like the formatting of the season, and it's a year later, we're just now on Yavin. And I would have kind of liked to see how that came about.
The building blocks of Yavin.
Yeah, I would have liked to see like them getting to Yavin. How did that come about? Did Cassian say, "Oh, I know this place. I was on there and stuff," and what happened to the soldiers who were left on Yavin and that kind of stuff? It's all just pretty glossed over. But
I think that's like what we spoke about with the pros and cons stuff earlier. Right? I think there's an element of that where it's just like, yeah, you could see that. Or we could just give you a bit more time with the Gorman massacre and that kind of stuff.
I mean, yes, you could, but it's just a unfortunate criticism of the show being condensed from 5 seasons.
They could have,
really.
I say, I'm saying it like everyone else needs to excuse it. The show's 12 episodes. It could have been 16. Like,
could have.
Yeah, it doesn't you can add stuff. So
I just would have personally liked to have seen like more of how they got to Yavin, and like that I'm sure that story will be told one day in one format or another. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the rebels are on Yavin now. It's getting set up. It's not quite the Yavin that we know, because we see Draven at one point, and it's a bit more come and go sort of thing. It's a bit more lax. Like there's no real ranking organization yet or anything like that. They're not quite, you're working for the rebellion. It's people coming together for a cause,
mates doing favors kind of thing.
They're not quite an army yet. They're not quite organized enough to be the rebellion that we know, which is interesting. I really like the force healer scene.
Yes,
Cassian going to the force healer, which is kind of how the arc opens and stuff. And the force healer obviously senses great purpose in Cassian, which kind of like freaks her out a bit, because it's not something she's come across before. She's clearly, we all know what it is. Clearly, we've seen Rogue One. We know what it is, but like it's I don't know. It's really interesting. I really like that sort of stuff, and it's also like a little. It's the mysticism of Star Wars, which up until now has not been present in Andor.
Yeah, it's been completely void of it. Yeah,
there's been no fucking mention of the Force or anything like that up until now.
I do like what that does for Bix as well, because Bix the entire season has been looking for a purpose. She keeps begging for like, let me go on these missions, let me do this, let me have more jobs, give me more responsibility. And ever since taking ownership of her own fate and killing that guy, like she is trying to get more and more into it. And I think that like this, the Force healer person, like she latches onto that. It's quite clearly like a moment of faith for Bix, where she kind of takes that and runs with it and keeps bringing it up to Cassian. And Cassian is his usual no-nonsense self, where he's like, I don't buy into that fucking bullshit. It's nonsense. But she very much sees that and like takes it, and it informs where her character goes for the rest of the arcs as well. Like where Bix ends up, like is there's a bit of sweetness to it that could only really exist with the Force healing.
Yeah, very much so. And I do like that Cassian is he's hesitant to it.
Yes.
He's wary. He's not buying into it. You know, and it also speaks to as well what the general consensus of the Force has become. You know, because it's interesting. I think does it even mention at one point that something about Marva spoke to a Force healer and it turned out to be a con or something like that.
Oh, I think there is something like that.
Yeah. And it's like it's the sense of, since the purge of the Jedi, the knowledge and the sort of the idea of the Jedi and the Force, it's very much diminished from what it was, and it's more become sort of like swindlers and conmen, like even like we see in Kenobi with fucking
I know who you mean.
What's his face? Kamal Nanjiani's character. Yeah, just swindlers taking advantage and stuff like that. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, you forget this is so closely set to the fucking this is so closely set to the original trilogy, where Han Solo has the infamous line of like hokey religions and stuff like that. It's not seen as a serious thing. Like it is seen as just a bunch of grifters and or kind of fucking nut jobs, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, by this point, there's been 18 years of propaganda of like Jedi bad, Force bad, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, nonsense.
So, 100%. Yeah, so it's interesting.
It's not easy to see. It's not hard to believe as well that like they would have sold you like, hey, the Jedi, like those weird little cunts in a tower that you never saw, and they kind of thought they were better than you all. Yeah, it turns out they suck as people.
Yeah,
like, it would have been
definitely.
easy propaganda to swallow.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, so this obviously sees the culmination of like the Gorman troops have been getting a bit more like kind of battle worn and ready for a bit of a scrap, and where it takes them into like just the whole episode as a start.
Sorry, I was just going to say it's really interesting to see the difference in Gorman between this arc and the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, because like, you know, the last arc, a lot of it was set in Gorman, and we was in the town square, and there was cafes, and there was people sat outside enjoying coffee and cakes and stuff at the restaurants and everything. And then you compare that with is it when Cassian gets to the Gorman Square, and how it's all barricaded off, and there's no one there. All the cafes are closed down and everything like that. The hotel looks a lot like bleaker and emptier and stuff. It's a real stark contrast of what's happened in that year since.
The
really
place that's like it was teeming with life, and now it's very quickly kind of had the personality stomped out of it.
100%.
Like obviously, like I don't know, man. There's something about, and we will talk about this, but there's something about the disgracefulness, the horrible, horrific act of evil to slowly strip away an entire nation's identity, provoke them to make silly mistakes. Yes. And then when they make the silly mistakes, go, our hands were tied. We had to teach them a lesson. Like, it's so oppressively fucking evil.
And not only our hands were tied, we had to teach them a lesson because they started it. They started to attack us, which was provoked by them causing that.
Yeah.
They orchestrated that entire thing for them to attack them. So
even like down to like how the actual massacre itself kicks off, where like one of them gives the order, right, and the order is to shoot one of their own men and go, a Gorman shot us. What the fuck? Like,
and even like fucking when Cassian first gets to the square, you see the news reporters, the media, and they're all like, Gorman terrorists have been doing this in the area, Gorman insurgents, and it's all no mention of the Empire or anything like that. It's all glory to the Empire, but the Gorman terrorists and all this sort of stuff. Really, really interesting.
It's very interesting. It's very timely.
It is very timely.
Yeah.
It's very real. Yeah.
It's one of them things where like you
real.
look at it,
don't take any meaning to that. It's real. Israel.
Yes. But I think they're so like it's it's so clear when you see it, like in a narrative that it's deliberately plotted out to be like this. I'm like, how can you not see that in life? How can you not see like, oh yeah, there has been a lot of fucking propaganda lately. There's been a lot of posts on various fucking nations' social medias lately. How do you not see it for what it is? It's so transparent. Like, and you shouldn't, like, this is ridiculous, but you shouldn't need fucking Star Wars to tell you. But if you do, like, at least watch this and then grapple with like what it clearly means in the world. Like, this isn't just silly space sci-fi show. This is making a very, and I know it, like you said earlier, it was written years ago, but you know,
but it is. I cannot grapple with the mindset of watching this show.
Yeah.
And then putting on your red "Make America Great Again" hat, and and claiming Israel has the right to defend itself and all like that, and everything like it's just. Are you?
Yeah.
Are you that media illiterate?
Yeah.
Are you that brain dead that you can't see what is being said here?
It does make me wonder, like, how some people watch these things. Like, you have to imagine they watch it with their fucking eyes shut.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you can't support Trump and like stuff. I think it might be, actually. I don't know. I just think it's so, you're the bad guy. I'm sorry, but you are. It's so fucking clear.
Also, if you're one of those Americans that's out there, like, I support Trump because of like for non like kind of weird reasons. Like, I just think that like I think he's more real. I think he's more transparent than Biden was or whatever. Like, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. But like, you're also directly giving credence and power and money and like presence to a guy that is also doing all that fuck shit you don't agree with. Like, you have to draw the line somewhere. I'd rather have I don't live in America, but I'd rather have a president with fucking Alzheimer's that has no idea what day it is, right? Than have one that's fucking deliberately like defunding fucking helplines for suicidal kids. What are we doing?
And funding that for a big fucking military parade?
Yeah.
For his birthday?
You pathetic dork. Yeah.
I know. What a fucking idiot, man.
Man hasn't fucking like it's so funny as well, because it's like you look at the man and you go like there's not a bone of discipline in that body, is there? Like a military parade for a man that is just like the biggest crybaby you've ever seen.
100%. Yeah.
What a cunt.
What a cunt.
What a cunt. And if you vote for Trump, you're also a cunt.
So much as shoot him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not us.
Well, maybe us. Anyway, yes, so Gorman. Cassian's got the U-Wing now.
Yes.
Interesting. It's good to see. I'm just ticking off my Star Wars.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
I'm doing my little checklist.
Is it the glop shitto things? Like...
My glop shitto. Yes. Yeah, but Cassian's got his U-Wing now, so that's interesting.
I've waited long enough. Can we talk about Cyril?
Yes. Well, yes, we can.
No? We're like an hour 30 into this. We've got to talk about Cyril.
No, but like, Cyril ties in so directly with the Gorman massacre itself.
We're there, brother. We're talking Gorman massacre.
I know, but yeah, okay, let's talk about Cyril. Yeah.
I just love we alluded to it earlier, but his slow unraveling in this, and it's the slow realization that it's all been for nothing, and just this kind of like spending 2 seasons hating a man who doesn't know your name, and like and personally vilifying this man as like, you're the undoing of my entire career. Everything wrong in my life stems from you and your insurrection and how you defy order, and I want to preserve it. It's fascinating.
But I think yes, you're right, but I think what's so fascinating about it is that's not a thing up until a certain point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, the tragedy of Cyril is that he was so fucking close. Yeah. Okay.
Like a second away.
He was this fucking close to getting it, you know?
Yeah.
He was moments away. If maybe Cassian had been on a different side of the square or something else, maybe he would have got there. Maybe he would have had that moment of picking up a brick and throwing it at a stormtrooper. Okay,
Yeah.
he was so close to getting the point, so close to realizing that I think he did realize that he'd been used and spat out by the Empire.
I think he
and
clocked
stuff.
that.
Yeah, but he was so close to doing the right thing, and then the second he saw Cassian, it was all gone.
Yeah.
Because he just could not let it go. Because he saw this man as everything that had ever gone wrong with his life. He was so obsessed and filled with hatred and anger towards this man who, at the end of the day, didn't even know who the fuck he was. Okay?
Who are you is like just
Yeah.
the coldest thing you could say.
And the way like he's about to shoot him, and when Cassian says that, and he just like drops the blaster, like, you don't even know who are you.
Yeah.
You are my entire life.
Bang!
I am obsessed over you for years,
Yeah.
and you don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And then he gets killed by the fucking French resistance guy, and
Yeah. And he says "Vive la France" and shoots him.
it's so the story of Cyril is so interesting and so fascinating. I mean, just because of how close he was, you know,
Yeah.
he was like fucking. We'll fly here. He was fucking seconds away.
He was currently in the process of being radicalized.
Yes.
And it all just went down the pan. That's the thing I love about his arc so much, is that it's he has spent, and especially in season 1, you know, like he has a big argument with Dedra, like, I was fucking good at my job. I solved a double murder in 2 days. I got my fucking uniform tailored, but that's because I take it seriously, and I want to be seen as this figure of order, this authoritative figure that is taken seriously, because he genuinely believes, I think he has a line that's brilliant about, like, can you ever be too aggressive in the pursuit of order? Like, firstly, hell yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. But secondly, like, the fact that he genuinely believes that, I think that's a character with strong, misguided very much so, but like integrity and morals, and will stick to that, right? And he does everything in his power to support the thing he believes in, until he realizes that the Empire is just straight up instigating the disorder themselves. Like like how he sees the Gorman massacre play out is the unrest that he's been defying other people for having. Like, he sees Andor as this disruption to order, but then he sees his own boss and girlfriend instigate this enormous fucking terrorist event because they just wanted to tick something off of their list today. Like,
because they needed a resource.
Yeah.
That's it. They needed to strip mine the planet for Calcite or whatever.
yeah.
And that's it. The Gorman said something they need, so
they
by
made
Gorman.
a way to make that genocide possible. Yeah.
exactly. They orchestrated a situation where they could be like, right, we have no choice but to declare martial law now.
Yeah.
Like, they the ones who pushed us to this point. They started a big riot in the square, so now, look, it's unfortunate. And even at the end of it, like the news reports, it's all, and like in the next episode in the Senate, they're talking about like how there needs to be a memorial to the Imperial heroes who tragically lost their lives in the Gorman fucking riots and everything like this.
Yeah.
And it's like the insults, you know,
Yeah.
the disrespect,
The gall of it, like,
yeah, the audacity of it all. But that's what it does. That's what the machine does. That's the propaganda. They'll take these stories, these events, which to everyone are so fucking clear, but then they'll put their spin on it. They'll frame it as a way that makes themselves seem like the heroes who had no other unfortunate choice.
yeah.
You know?
And the people that weren't
that's
there
what it
just
comes
swallow
down
it
to.
up for fucking breakfast and shit out
Yeah.
like it's their own opinion because they were told what to
100%.
think. Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. It's oh boy, America, wake up.
Yeah, fucking Edie will live the rest of her life thinking her son was killed by insurgents on Gorman.
Yeah.
You know, she'll think he was the good Imperial worker who was tragically, you know, viciously slaughtered by these brutal terrorists
dogs,
and savages.
like, yeah.
You know, yeah.
It's a fantastic arc. It's a brilliant culmination of his story.
And it's difficult to watch as well.
it is,
at
yeah.
times. It is quite difficult to watch. I was listening to a podcast about it, and I heard someone talk about how it's quite I don't really know how to get into this. I don't know if I'm necessarily the right person to get into it, but it's interesting that like it's an intentional choice in how Gorman was depicted. In that Gorman is very it's not a working class place. It's quite upper class, and it's quite white as well.
Yes.
You know, as in to make it even more sympathetic, I think, because people will naturally take more sympathy to a nation who might be under some sort of, you know, oppression like that, as a white nation who would be under oppression like that, as opposed to, you know, a nation where it's primarily people of color. And if you think, I don't think that's true, look at what happens between Ukraine and Palestine. Okay,
exactly,
like it's quite clear how there is much more of a sympathetic cause towards the people of Ukraine than there is towards the people of Palestine. And what's the contributing factor to that?
Yeah.
It's
plain as day, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is plain as day. I just think it's a really interesting parallel that's drawn. That's like the Gorman massacre is depicted through these quite upper class fashion designers, white people.
It's people of affluence. It's
people of affluence, but that by no means diminishes the horrors that they're going through.
Yeah.
It just makes it more accessible to the audience that is watching it. And I think whereas if it was like a brown working class sort of thing, would we have that same sympathy? I'd like to think yes, but then there's real world parallels which tell me that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, history literally informs the opposite being true.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think it was a really interesting point that was brought up, really, and one which I didn't necessarily think of until that. But yeah.
No, that's absolutely an interesting point, and it's like, it's unfortunate that you would have to kind of manipulate an audience to rely on their own kind of societal bias. Just to make your point clear. And it's interesting when it's called out as well, and you go, holy fuck. Like you say, I didn't notice it either.
Yeah.
And because I've never been in a scenario where I would need to think about it. So
100%. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
And you're not a bad person for not noticing it. It's intentionally designed that
exactly.
way. Like,
yeah.
It's the norm to not notice it. You know,
Yeah.
that's the unfortunate thing of it all, really.
I do think it's interesting as well with Cyril that he one of his last acts, one of the last aggressive choices that he makes has the unintended consequence of saving Dedra's life.
Yes.
He quite literally dump tackles Cassian right before he's about to pull the trigger on her.
When just moments earlier he was clearly quite unhappy with Dedra.
Yeah.
He was choking her out in the office and stuff.
Literally choking her out,
Yeah. Quite interesting.
Turn off the lights. But not that kind.
Not that kind, no.
No, he was cross. That was the first kind of...
Cyril's never doing the choking.
No.
Cyril is taking the strap on up
Yeah.
his little butt.
I think so. I think Cyril's got a little...
Cyril's getting pegged all day long.
Okay? Cyril's got his little uniform that he tailored, and he's gone to his tailor, and he's got a little butt flap for it, and that's what he's got worked onto it.
He'll put on a little collar that says "Property of Dedra," or "Property of Palpatine."
Yeah. Oh, that is funny. That turn of the light scene. It's like he has to go and earn sex with his girlfriend by being useful. It's so funny.
It's very funny.
But yeah, with the massacre itself, right? You're getting these. It's probably the most cinematic Star Wars has looked in a while. These fantastic shots, and I quite like that. So far, Gorman is this kind of expansive place, but it's not until they don't reveal the scale of Gorman. A lot of Gorman is reserved for the town square, and it feels quite limiting. There's a part of this season that does feel quite limiting. Like, are we going to see any other sides of Gorman than just these buildings and this town square? And they only pull back to reveal the scale of Gorman when they want to show the size of this massacre and how outside of the town square there are people running in the streets. And and that's when, I just think that's such a good example of them deliberately holding themselves back for a reveal later on that goes, no, we built all these fucking sets too, and we're going to fill it with screaming victims of this terror attack.
The horror scene when the K2 droids come out.
Oh my god, yeah.
They just start throwing people across the square, and then when it breaks out from the square into the streets, and the K2 units just chasing people down and everything like that.
That guy's daughter, you just see the light go out.
It's brutal, man. It's so horrible.
Just smacks the concrete and it's just dead. Immediately done. Yeah.
I will say this is just before the actual massacre itself, but the moment of all the Gormans singing what I assume is the national anthem or something. Beautiful.
It's absolutely stunning.
I cried watching that. It's so So beautiful.
It's just it's because again, I think we've seen too much being as online as some people are in this era, especially, and you know, phone footage and the fact that you can so easily turn on social media and just immediately fucking see this horrific shit. Like we're so accustomed now to see valiant shows of support from people. The only power that these people have. You know, and again, it sounds ridiculous to get kind of upset about like a Star Wars scene, right? But it's affecting because it's so one-to-one with real life events, and events that are so timely as well. But the only power that these people have sometimes is just unity and strength in numbers. And then when they can dispatch you at great numbers, you start to like. There's a part of you that starts to wonder what the point of it all is. Like the moment where the national anthem and the chant that they're doing fades away because people are just too busy trying to not die. Yeah. It's like, it's such a spirit breaking moment. And like, just the way they depict that is, it's fantastic. It's really, really tough to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
I watched this episode and afterwards I was I'm going to watch this episode, then I'll like take the baby off my wife and so she can like have a little chill and do what she wants to do. And I finished this episode and I was like, do you mind if I just go and have a quick shower? Like, do you mind, like, before I do anything that like requires my full attention, do you mind if I just go and have a think in a shower for a minute?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my experience with it.
So that's the Gorman Massacre, which is brutal and horrible and difficult to watch. And then it kind of leads into the next episode, which is primarily set on Coruscant with the Imperial Senate and Mothma's reaction and speech there, which I think is it's so interesting. And I don't know, I think I always found it interesting and confusing when people like disparage the prequels because of the politics and like, you made a movie about politics? That's not interesting. Like, but it's so interesting though, and I get it's not done to the same effect as this. I understand.
I think that's what people's issues are. I also listened to a few podcasts about Andor season 2, and something that I quite struck with me, and I know they're going for different effects, and it's a little bit boiling it down to its bare minimum as a point. But if the politics of the prequels were as interesting as the politics of Andor is, the prequels would have been received in a much different light. If Padme's writing had the caliber of Mon Mothma's writing, the prequels would have been seen entirely differently.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah. But it is so interesting, the political intrigue and the way the Senate works, and the like the fact that the offices are bugged and everything like that, and they've even got to like work out how and when they can rehearse their speeches and everything. It's so interesting and fascinating to see how that world works and what kind of problems it can cause and everything like that. And I love it so much.
And I think even just like those moments of like having to rehearse the speeches, it's a fascinating look into the inner workings of politics, because if she whiffs it, right? Like if she whiffs it, you're immediately going to get a smear campaign of like Mon Mothma drunk making speeches, has no idea what she's talking about, like
the memes and everything.
Yeah, like it will just completely discredit her in a second if she fucks it up. And I think that's interesting, and I think with Mon Mothma's, this is kind of the culmination of her arc here.
Yes.
And I think it's so interesting that you feel the fact that this is an entire life for her over. Yes, she's about to go and start a new life in the rebellion, right? But this is her entire political career is over after this one speech. And I think you feel that way. And I think that like she's got to a point where she's realizing that like Luthen's espionage is as frustrating as deceiving the Empire at this point. It's just that she goes, fuck this, I need a defiant stance. I need to say, my name's Mon Mothma, and this is what I genuinely believe.
It gets to a point where staying silent becomes more harm than good, because she's been working in the background. She's been doing what she can quietly to support the rebellion, speaking out where she can in smaller ways. Like we have that scene earlier where she was talking to Krennic. There's a good back and forth between her and Krennic, and you get the sense that she's constantly calling Krennic to Senate hearings to answer for this and to that. Because what is it? She says to him like, "Oh, nice to see you outside the witness box," or something like that. Yeah. So like,
Krennic's like this fucking headache again.
Like Mothma's clearly like a a figure who's like, let's she's a do-gooder. She's earned probably a reputation in the Senate as a bit of a, and that makes sense as to why she's being investigated by the ISB and everything like that and everything.
It shows how terrifying it is that if you even dare to step. Like it's hilarious that like they're investigating her for like this. She goes like, what is effectively the difference between like, I think littering is bad and also like stop murdering innocent people, but the ISB are investigating her for her claims, her defiant stance against littering.
Yeah,
and like if they had any fucking idea of what she was actually doing behind the scenes, oh my god, dead in an instant. Like,
well, that's the thing though, because it's getting to a point. There's a point where you just can't stay silent anymore, and for Mothma, this is that point. You know, this is the breaking point. She cannot, in any good amount of faith or conscience, see what happened on Gorman and continue
play nice dinner parties.
Yes, it's the dinner parties, the laughing with Imperial officers, the breaking bread. It cannot go on. It's over. That life is over, and she knows it.
And it's like the self-sacrifice as well, because like I know her husband's a shithead anyway, but like leaving her daughter, like, she ever gonna see her again? I don't know.
I don't know.
Like,
I do not know.
No,
it doesn't really seem like it.
But it's
really.
It's immense self-sacrifice. It's not just like she has to stand up and be a bit brave in front of a bunch of co-workers. She's trading in her entire fucking life.
Yes.
For a life of complete uncertainty and absolute definitive hunted down. Like,
so much so that, like, they have plans and contingencies in place. The second she is done delivering the speech, we got to get her out of there. Yeah. She's got to get off Coruscant and fucking, get to what we know from Rebels, get to Phoenix Squad and go through all that sort of shit that we see. But
new Jimmy Smits is there to help her out.
New Jimmy Smits, yeah. So Benjamin Bratt is Bail Organa now, recast, bit controversial.
I like it. I think he's good in the role.
I think he's good in the role. It's a shame. I really like Jimmy Smits, so it's a shame. I would love to have seen Jimmy Smits to do this, but Benjamin Bratt's good and everything.
Just scheduling. I think he does well to capture the same vibe. It's a good recast.
Yeah. It is just scheduling. I don't think there's any bad blood or anything like that. But
he's always game to show up. He's in so much.
Yeah. He was in Kenobi and everything like that. So yeah, and I hope we do see Jimmy Smits again. But yeah, it is good to see Bail and see Bail supporting her and everything like that. And the moment like where she's about to give her speech and he just says, "Hey, tear the shit out of this place," like really good.
I
stuff.
saw so much like discourse online as well about that. Like saying words like shit in Star Wars doesn't they
say shit in the first season of Andor.
Yeah, but like there was again because it's reactionary, isn't it? And it was newly relevant, but like. People get the arse with like certain real world things tipping over, and someone
I do too. Like there was the thing about certain things. Like I'm okay with shit being in Star Wars, but like there was famously the moment in the Marva's funeral in Andor. Her speech was going to culminate in this. She says, "Fight the Empire."
Be fuck the Empire.
It was recorded as "fuck the Empire." Like there's behind the scenes. Yeah, there's behind the scenes footage, and in the footage it's bleeped out. It's bleep the Empire. She does say it in the actual recording of it. I think they just ADR'd it for the show.
Yeah.
So it was recorded as "fuck the Empire," and then I think there was a note from I don't know whoever, Kathleen or whatever, just like, "Hey, that's not really what we do here." And like,
also it's a better note. "Fuck the Empire" is like, it's not as defiant of a sentence as like push back, fight. Like,
yeah, I fuck doesn't belong in Star Wars. You don't need the word fuck in Star Wars. I think you can get your message across without it. I think it's fuck is that one real world term where it's I don't know, it's too real world for me. It's not Star Wars, Shit is fine. I have no problem.
Shit is fine. I saw people say like, some said like, what would you have genuinely preferred? Like tear the bantha goopily glorp out of these guys or whatever.
It's poodoo. Tear the poodoo.
That's it. Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Come on, man.
But yeah, I mean,
But there's also a real world. There's a Star Wars counterpoint to fuck as well, which is Criff. Criff is fuck.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Wars. Yeah. So
Criff's sake.
Just say Criff. Yeah, for Criff's sake.
Tear the Criff out of these. That would have worked. Yeah, why not?
But that's fine. But shit is fine. Yeah. Tear the shit out of this place. I've got no issue with that.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think that's the kind of stuff that, like, if you're on Twitter every day and you're going on about that shit, it's just like, go outside, man. Get some mates. Yeah.
Yeah, get some mates. The speech itself is fantastic.
Yes, phenomenal.
It's so good. It's obviously a little different from the it's just a glimpse of it we see in Rebels, but it's different. And some people had a problem with that. I think it's fine. I think it's completely fine to have a different. It's not like, oh, Andor retcons Rebels. No, it's the same story. It's the absolute same story. It's just whatever. Who gives a fuck, you know? And this speech is so impactful, so powerful. It's such a fucking. Oh, just a cheering moment where she's like, and the monster who will come for us all.
Yeah.
And she fucking names him Senator and Emperor Palpatine. It's fuck. Yes. Incredible stuff.
There's that line that's amazing and fist pumping and stuff. And then there's the other one about like something I cannot remember it at all, but like something about like how truth and reality have become so far apart from one another. Like it's I can't remember the exact quoting of the line, but it's
where what is said and what is known to be true. Something.
We're finding it.
The distance between what is said and what is known to be true has become an abyss.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Of all the things at risk, the loss of an objective reality is perhaps the most dangerous. The death of truth is the ultimate victory of evil. When truth leaves us, we let it slip away. When it is ripped from our hands, we become vulnerable in the appetite of whatever monster screams the loudest. Incredible
it's
stuff.
Phenomenal writing.
Yeah.
Like, just like the kind of thing that, like, everyone knows that, like, fascism has its proper hand dipped into, like, the kind of deliberate misinformation spreading and stuff like that. But to hear it laid bare like that, I'm like, yeah, God, you've got to have a real decent understanding of what you're talking about to be that poetic about something so brutal and disappointing.
What happened yesterday on Gorman was unprovoked genocide. The word genocide is very hard hitting, and I think it should be, because it's a word we shy away from.
Yeah, it is.
In everyday use, people don't describe what's been happening in Palestine as a genocide, even though it fucking is.
Yeah.
Israel is trying to commit a genocide against the Palestinian people.
Yeah.
Okay, and people are
so
just
blatantly
like,
as well. Like,
exactly, and it's always just constantly referred to as, well, Israel has the right to defend itself. Israel has the right to do this and to do that, and it's just such a fucking twisting of what is actually going on.
Yeah.
They're not calling it what it is. It's a genocide, and it's such a clear choice to use that word to describe it as what it is, which is...
This is what I appreciated earlier, and I kind of mentioned it, like how I like when a writer takes a refreshing stance to take adult material and present it for adults. Two words, one that we just discussed, and another one in the first arc as well, that people were very surprised to hear in Star Wars, that being
rape.
Yeah, which is like, it's not, and I'm not going to keep going on about it because it's not a comfortable thing, but
No.
it is important to discuss that these things happen.
It did catch me off guard when I heard that line. I was like, oh fuck,
it
I was
hits
not
strange in the head,
that.
doesn't it? Like,
It does, yeah.
And I just think that's a testament to the power. They understand that they're not going to use those words lightly. Case in point, they're only really used once each. They use them with enough power to make you go fuck, and then they leave it there and they let that sit with the audience and their personal opinions and how they take those sentences being included.
Cassian getting Mothma out of the Senate building, very interesting. So
I think my driver's an ISB spy. Bang,
boom, killed him dead.
Not anymore, bitch.
Dead. Yeah. A lot of that was filmed in Spain. Like, a lot of it is just it's some sort of, like, I don't know, convention center in Spain where there's that, like, building, and then the kind of, like, little pool lake thing, whatever they have going on, is in Spain. And,
Coruscant is quite picturesque. Like,
they did well to, like, find these real world locations, a lot of them in London, some in Spain and stuff, to then recreate Coruscant and stuff, which is kind of an impossible task to shoot Coruscant live action.
It was derived as like space city, like
it's like the whole fucking planet's this big futuristic city, So it's difficult to find like fucking actual locations for that, but I think they did a really good job.
It is easier when you see it on the ground, like, because so often in Coruscant we see whizzing through a spaceship or something. Like,
100%.
But it's very well realized, and that scene feels palpable and very tense. Like, Andor is walking with her and is like, take your fucking coat off, just follow me. And she's so, what I love about it is that Luthen has spread so much distrust and unwilling to reveal his entire plan and idea, that when Cassian says, I have friends everywhere, Mon Mothma's even more scared of him for a second.
Yeah.
She's like, but I've now, that's my use. My usefulness is done.
Yeah.
Is Luthen going to go the way he does with everyone else and just get rid of me?
And Cassian is such a... I don't know. He's kind of a blunt instrument.
Yeah, he
isn't
is.
He?
Yeah.
He's a force. He's a wrecking force.
Yeah.
Like straight away, the moment they're like hit with the ISB spy, like at the fucking when they come out the elevator and stuff, and Mothma's aide is the one who like fucking quickly gets that kind of under control. But then Cassian just straight away fucking just shoots.
Yeah.
Just shoots. Fucking. Oh, so good.
Because he's in there for a quick extraction, so he's not going to fucking beat around. He knows that if
the longer they spend there, the more dangerous the situation
those
gets.
Those doors are going to close. Those ships are going to get tagged. Like it's very much, if we don't go now, like I don't care if I make a mess on the way out, we're never coming back.
Yeah,
it doesn't
100%.
matter if I make a big mess, and that's seen in another extraction from Coruscant as well.
Oh,
a bit later on, where I think it's especially K2 as one of the best scenes, most satisfying scenes of all time.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, so really well done. Love the Senate escape and everything like that.
Yeah.
What else?
I think that's it for the.
I don't know. Yeah, I just think it's really well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my favorite arc of the show. I think
it has to be like.
Yeah, it's just such a huge moment. Everything it means for the characters. The Mothma speech is just so incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at Tony Gilroy's formatting as well, season 1 is very much the same. I would say the first arc is maybe one of the weakest, and then as it expands onwards, the penultimate arc is typically where he goes, "This is every idea I have out on the screen."
Yeah.
Because that's the
Narkina 5.
the Narkina 5 arc. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just good story structure.
Yeah.
Build up something big, deal with the fallout, and then go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like I can't remember his name, but Mothma's aide as well, and like when she finds out he's been working for Luthen and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's all really well interesting. He's a character in Rebels as well. You see him in Rebels, but
I'm glad you're here because I don't know any of this. I watched all the Rebels and I spoke about it at great length with you, but I'm not gonna remember that kind of stuff. No chance.
Well, yeah, but they do talk about it because they're like
I was in Rebels
when they get back to. When Cassian gets back to Yavin, Draven meets them, and they're like, "Oh, we're rewriting the story. We're going to say Gold Squadron. We're having Gold Squadron bring her in, which is what happens in Rebels."
Yeah.
And then they talk about she's going to do another speech to like rally the rebel cells together.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "I've already seen one speech today, mate. I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that, you know." Which I think is good because I don't think we did need to see that speech. I like that speech is for Rebels. You know, that's it's a great speech in Rebels, and it's good to keep it there.
Go there and see it, and go and watch it. Yeah. It's supporting.
And I did.
Stuff.
After watching that episode, I watched that episode of Rebels as well, and I was like, "This is sick. I love this." And you can have both.
Yeah,
both are good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, both are good Star Wars. Okay,
I do like that. Just the political rewriting of how it happened. Like, because we extracted her through Cassian Andor, the bluntest instrument known to man, who's a dodgy bloke. Right, like he's the most useful guy, but he's also the guy that will just shoot and ask questions later.
Yeah,
that's not a rising story. Like that's not something to inspire the people by.
that's not a story for the heroic, plucky rebellion.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Cassian murder Andor, just coming in and murdering like 4 people on the way out.
There's a reason we haven't heard about Luthen and what he's been doing up until this show, you know. Oh, also Saul Guerrera's here at various points.
Oh yeah, like, I'll be honest, I don't care about Saul Guerrera that much.
Oh, I do. I think he's fascinating.
I'm over it, if I'm honest.
I love Saul.
I like Forrest Whitaker, and I do like what he brings to the performance. And I think there are certain moments that are really funny. Like they're like, we know you're on Jeddah, and he's like, you don't know anything about me.
You have no idea where I am.
Like that's all very funny, but like we're gonna go and sniff this fucking juice and get high and whatever. I'm like, I don't care.
That's not what's happening.
I know, but I don't care about it all the same.
No,
It was the weakest parts for the season for me. I don't care about this.
It's not weak. It's not weak though. He's I don't know. I think he's fascinating because he's the rebellion from a different perspective. You know, he's the rebellion without the chains and the fucking anything holding him back. You know, and we'll do some extremely questionable stuff, and how his mind is just fucking poisoned mush. Like there's that scene where he has fucking Tubes just kill that guy who was working with Willem on the Rhydonium thing, and he just said he's an Imperial spy, and then Tubes is like, here's the proof, and like, all right, but what is that? Was he a spy? Because you just hold up a little thing and like, here's the proof, and that's all we see of it. Okay, was he actually a spy, or is this just Saul's paranoia?
I think he's just paranoid. Because he took too long to figure something out with him.
He didn't follow his orders. He didn't unquestionably follow him and kill Willem, Willman, and fucking do as Saw said. So like, that's enough of a reason for Saw to get rid of him. I don't know. I think he's an interesting character.
I couldn't be one of his boys.
Well, no, that's the point.
It'd be scary being one of his boys.
It's also, I like that he's on Dakar as well.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that's in the Force Awakens. That's quite cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
There's a couple of like I know I said to you as well, like little moments that just like they're for the Star Wars fans. Like,
yes.
Like when Cassie,
little nerds like me to point at the screen.
No, but like
I know what that is.
But I even got one when they pull up and that it's in the first arc when they pull up and they're on Yavin 4. And I was like, that's Yavin 4. I know Yavin 4. I know that big stone structure. It was in a James Bond film or something as well.
Was it in a James Bond film?
Yeah, it's in one of the early like 70s ones. Yeah, they use it as like one of the villain's bases or whatever.
One of the bad movies. One of the bad.
One of the weirdly sexiest ones. Yeah.
Which is most of them.
Yeah, which is even
they're
the new
mostly
ones.
they're mostly bad and sexist.
Yeah, they are really,
especially the new ones.
Yeah, they're very sexist.
I also think they kind of like. They messed up a bit on the timing of it,
what do you mean?
Or the dating of it, because it says 18 BBY, okay?
Yeah.
Which is the Battle of Yavin is sorry, not 18 BBY, 1 BBY.
Yeah.
Which is 18 years since Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
And so it implies it's a year until the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that's the case, okay? Because this like leads directly into Rogue One, which leads directly into A New Hope.
But does
okay?
it?
This is a week before the Battle of Yavin.
But does it do? Does it? Are these 3 episodes? Do they take place over a certain amount of time, like a couple of months?
No, like a couple of days.
Oh, then they fucked it up. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't care too much. Like,
I guess like sure. Like I guess. I don't know. I just the dating's a little off, but whatever. It's not that much of a fucking issue.
No,
you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is like fucking boys, we're in it now. So Lonnie's like fucking come across some information. He's had access to Dedra's files, and he needs to speak to Luthen.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking a matter of emergency, and you know it's clearly something important if Luthen's meeting this kind of out in broad daylight. You know, out in fucking a public place,
like on a public bench,
on just a bench in public somewhere. You know, like shit's fucking hit the fan. But he's talking. They've basically found out about the Death Star. Basically, they've come across the files. There's the Emperor's Energy Project, which is what it's been touted as. It's all bullshit. It's some kind of fucking weapon. Okay, yeah. I think there's mentions of Saw Gerrera. It's not Saw Gerrera. Sorry, Jin's dad, Galen Erso. Yes.
It is funny, and it's quite fascinating that like the Death Star plans were just like, oh, wrong an email, sorry. like it goes to Lonnie, and Lonnie's like,
which is so fucking hilarious and fascinating because again, Tony Gilroy's like, no, it was all written 5 years ago. But then like a month before the show aired, there was that news story of some news reporter just being added to a WhatsApp group.
Incredible,
about and then fucking war secrets and everything were all revealed and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is this viral marketing for Andor?
Yeah, like it's quite crazy. But again, it's just Tony Gilroy understands his stuff. Do you know what I mean? This stuff clearly happens time and time again, and he's like, "This is a universal story I'm telling." Yeah,
just incompetence like this, just bureaucratic incompetence and slip-ups that happen and have these fucking huge domino effects. You know, it's so interesting. But yes,
it puts Lonnie in an impossibly sad position as well, because Lonnie's in the situation where it's like, I'm dead either fucking way. Like,
and he's like, look, I need, before I tell you this, you need to promise me you get me, my wife, and my kids out of here. Take us to fucking Yavin or whatever, you know. And Luthen's like, yeah, all right.
We're gonna go to. He's so cruel. He's like, we're gonna go to this planet as well. Yeah. This is how we're gonna do it.
Which is interesting because he tells him we'll go to Yavin. Yavin is where we'll go. But that's kind of like a double hitter, because in the last episode he said there's no Yavin for me. I don't go to Yavin. Yeah. Okay, so you know when he says that, like, this isn't gonna happen,
it's god damn.
Yeah.
Then like the next, you don't see him die, but then you see his fucking corpse just slumped on a bench, and you're like, god damn it, dude.
A little Tuca cat comes up to his body, and he's just fucking. Luthen just shot him and left him there.
That's the worst thing. He shot him after that conversation. It didn't go away and like get Cassian to just slip him before he even notices he's dead. Like,
got the information he needed and then just fucking shot him. Yeah,
I like to picture Luthen shooting him and then just kind of like shuffling a bit like fuck. Gotta get back to the art gallery. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like and shit has hit the fan. They know they have like fucking. The Empire are coming for them. Like they know this is over. We gotta burn the operation. There's like a nice little moment between Kleya and Luthen where like Kleya's like, I'll burn it, and he's like, no, you fucking go off, I'll fucking sort it out and stuff.
And that's quite a timely response given what happens.
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say we should dedicate a moment to talking about Kleya and Luthen, because a fascinating part of this final arc that, like, it's just...
Well, just before that, I do like it when Dedra comes to the shop.
Yes.
And Dedra's got there's a real smugness about Dedra. Like, when she drops the Imperial, what is it, the TIE fighter, the transponder unit, or whatever the fuck it is, like from season 1 on the thing, and that's like, okay, we know what's going on here.
Yeah.
We know what's going on here. But even before that, even the little game of cat and mouse that the two of them are playing, the talking in fallacies and riddles. I love the moment where, like, Dedra asks, is all of this real? Talking about like the galleries, the items in the gallery, and Luthen just has this laugh and says, of everything in my shop, there's 2 of them which are of questionable.
Yeah.
There's 2 items which are of questionable whatever origin or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about them.
Clearly talking about their integrity as people.
Yes. It's so interesting and well done.
It's great as well, because again, Dedra's been on this arc of, and we spoke about it in the first episode of Andor we did. But like Dedra's been on this arc of like constantly needing to bend over backwards to prove herself, because not only is she like in the ISB, it's a boys' club, and she's very much like undervalued, because despite being clearly the most strategically switched on, she's continuously has to make careless decisions to prove and just that she gets results and that she's effective.
She's seen as lesser in the ISB because she's a woman.
Exactly, yeah. And unfortunately for her, and like, you know, which is crazy because she's an effective fascist, but like, unfortunately for her personally, is that she just rocks up here with her fucking gun half cocked. She hasn't, like, she just goes here based on like, I said it, I got here first. And then she realizes she's not prepared for it. Like,
yeah, again, it's like Cyril though. Again, she's so focused and obsessed with this. She's so like, what's the code name it goes by? Axis. Yeah, she's so blindsighted and focused on Axis that like she can't see all the obvious glaring flaws with everything else, like ISB protocol and the fact that, you know, she purposefully organized this for the day that the actual guy who was looking into Axis, he was off duty. You know, her former assistant and stuff. Like, it's fascinating how she's following the same kind of line that Cyril did as well.
Just this ultimate like like you're so rushing and you're so rash to get a result because you want to prove your usefulness to the Empire, because you're watching every single one of your mates get fucking like devalued to the point where they just get pushed out. Like, you've seen, like, she knows Cyril's dead. She fucking like she's watching, you know, Krennic kind of buckle under Tarkin's weight, and Partagaz buckle under Krennic's weight, and it's like it's just this like you said earlier, kind of like a domino effect of just like no one comes out of this unscathed at all.
Yeah, 100%. So this first episode of the arc, it's kind of all focused on Clea and Luthen, really.
Yeah.
Like there's none of the like Cassian or anything like that appear. It's all sort of focused on them. And so Luthen stabs himself. He has to go to the hospital. It's all fucked up for Dedra. And then it's basically a mission of Clea infiltrating the hospital.
Yeah.
But not to save Luthen,
No.
to kill him,
To put the final nail in, yeah.
Because she has to, because otherwise he'll be tortured and interrogated, and
he could give something up.
He could give something up. He's like, the Empire has means of getting information.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like he's got to go.
And I like
you know?
that it's not she doesn't see him as above it. Like, we know how effective Luthen is, but the Empire has been built up as this enormously effective force. There's a reason that they're all operating in the dark and scared. Like,
if they need information, they can get
exactly,
it. Okay?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
no matter who you are, no matter how strong your resilience is, okay? Like, look at, I mean, that was the whole point of what fucking Doctor whatever his fucking face on was working on in the first season, you know? Like, they will do some horrible things to get what they need.
It's just fascinating as well that it comes at the end of their relationship and how it's been explained to us, and the backstory just one episode prior, like, is showing us that, like, killing Luthen for Clea is actually kind of a cathartic experience. Like, there's a part of her that's just like I have a lot of respect for you, but I cannot be close to you. I don't.
She hates him.
Yeah, she hates him, but they're
he killed her family.
Yeah,
you know?
but by circumstance, they've been drawn together on this journey together, and they understand each other's usefulness to one another.
Yeah,
but when she gets to kill him, it's a moment of great and utter, just like, thank God, I can put this to bed. Yeah.
It's a fascinating relationship because she does hate him, but there's also this underlying, I don't know, mutual respect and the mutual they've found family in each other, despite the fact that she does have these harsh and confusing feelings. Not in I don't think there's any sense of a romantic thing, but like in a fucking familial way and everything like that. It's very interesting. I love the fucking kind of the first bit of uprising he teaches her is on Naboo as well. It's they don't say it, but it's clearly Naboo. Yeah. You can tell that's fucking Naboo.
Naboo's quite a visual striking place.
Yes, and it's like, and he says like here of all places, like the location they're doing this is important. It's Palpatine's homeworld. That's why you know if you're gonna strike anywhere, strike at the homeworld of Palpatine itself. Yeah, love that. Interesting.
I agree. I think it's just it's a fascinating combination, and that distrust and bond between Clea and Luthen extends into Clea's like kind of extraction as well, because she's so resistant to even join Andor, because she's like, I know what you cunts think about Luthen, and I'm his guy. I'm Luthen's number one. Like, I don't have a place there, just like he didn't, and it's about Andor's relationship to her then is about teaching her that, like, Luthen was a dick, but like he built something for the next generation and for the future, and you're very much a part of that. Like, now this is where we step away from Luthen's dirty tactics and we play to win, not through means of absolute acts of disparity, but instead acts of genuine hope and heroism and playing the game better than the Empire could. We've now got ourselves to a position where we can fight in a fair and clean manner, and so we're going to do so.
K2SO, great fucking
human shields that guy, and doesn't even need to human shield him as well. He's a droid that can take a lot of fire.
100%, and just the lifeless way he's hanging, you know,
he flops from his neck, like it's ugly to see.
It's so fucking ugly, but so fun to watch. K2SO is great. It's good to see K2SO back.
Yeah, he's just playing cards with the boys.
Like I like how before Biggs left, it was like this quite nice place, you know. There was like it was quite a nice little home for them all. But then once like fucking Biggs has gone, it's become this like bachelor boys home where they're just drinking whatever that Resnog and just playing cards.
But he waters the flowers
before he goes to meet Tivik. But
I suppose we should talk very quickly about Biggs's ending.
Yeah, so Bix is
Poe Dameron's
on.
mum.
She's not Poe Dameron's mum, but she is mum to Cassian Jr. A little bit of a shock twist ending there. Cassian has a son, which we didn't know until now.
Yeah. What a way to retroactively gut punch me on Cassian's death 10 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. It's what Luthen said. It's a sunrise he'll never see. It's and that's what they're doing. They're looking out at the sunrise with the little boy in her, the little baby in her arms. I shouldn't assume it's a boy.
Yeah. The parallel of Bix looking out, and the people were posting this rife the week the finale came out, but the parallel of Bix looking out at the sunset and Cassian where he dies and where he stands at the beach in Scarif.
Yeah, 100%. I did watch Rogue One immediately after the finale, and it does it all lines up very well. It's so well made in that, like, how it all comes together. The one thing though is kind of it does kind of take away the kind of implied romance of Jyn and Cassian a little bit. Like it kind of lessens that, but I think that's for a good thing, really. Like
I know there is a romantic element to it, and there are people that read it very much as that. I've always seen it as just like, we're gonna die, and this is companionship. This is what the Empire strives to separate: people, human connection, truth, honest affection. Like that for me, their relationship for me just felt like two people trusting each other, which is exactly what the opposite of the Empire wants.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I never really cared for the romance because it's not the focus of Rogue One. Case in point, they don't put a lot of emphasis on it.
No, it's really not the focus of it.
Yeah.
Amazing show, incredible,
phenomenal show. Yeah.
Yes.
Little things. Is there any little things? Dedra ending up on Narkina 5 or something of similar.
Yes. Yeah. Great ending for her.
The boot comes for them all.
Boot comes for them all. Yes, very good. Krennic, incredible in that final arc. Love him interrogating Dedra, and yes, the finger on the head and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of improv, I think.
I think he improved that. It was a moment of improv. They said
great stuff from him.
So good, so good. Just the look of shock on her face when he does it.
She's horrified. Like, good, get off.
It's so well done. Krennic's great in that scene.
Yeah,
Partagaz killing himself. Yeah. I love the he just like, can I have a moment? And he pulls out the blaster, and like that dude just standing outside the office when you hear the blaster bolt and just the
quick, like the stormtroopers go to react, and he's like, no.
Yeah, he's just like, no.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah, I know this was happening.
Yeah,
okay.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so good.
Partagaz, man. I like that like Krennic's just absolute unraveling. Like when he gets, I'm sure they must be aware of the meme. He must be, but just the like, because he's in the room with Dedra and he goes, Death Star to her.
Say it, yeah. I'm building a Death Star,
Death Star, mate. You're gonna do a Star Wars,
I love. It's very clearly on Yavin. They're very clearly like, hey, we're about to do Rogue One. You know Rogue One, the movie. You remember all these guys from Rogue One, the movie? Yeah. Look, we're all in our Rogue One outfits. Jimmy Smits is wearing his little Rogue One cloak.
Cassian's had a haircut.
So, Cassian's had a haircut. Okay, he's putting on his little jacket.
Yeah,
okay.
I quite like that though. I think it positions them like to go. Yeah.
We see the senators who are even, the guy from Sherlock, who's there.
How did you kill yourself, Sherlock? That guy.
Yes. Senator Gibbon, I believe he is.
You just know too much about this kind of shit.
Admiral Raddus, a character I fucking love in Rogue One as well. He's there, so
he's
good
the one that's like,
him.
Go, Doug. Cheers, Rogue One.
I say we fight.
Yeah.
He's that guy. Yeah.
And then when Rogue One are dying, he's like, "You're good on your boys."
Yes. Well done, Rogue One.
Yeah.
And Godspeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a great guy,
He's
man.
Great. He's
got
great.
respect for the boys.
Much. Got respect, Admiral Raddus, and it's what the ship in The Last Jedi is named after. They're on the Admiral Raddus.
Oh yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yes.
And then they just fucking speed through that cunt's other ship.
Yeah. And then,
fuck this Raddus ship. I was sick of it.
Yeah, goated show. So good.
Ridiculously good, yeah.
Really well good. Ties into Rogue One really well, perfect. And I do love that ending of Cassian just walking through the base, and it's that montage of everything coming together. You see Krennic looking out at the Death Star and all that kind of stuff. It's such a great ending to the show, and them flying off to go to the Rings of Catherine and stuff. It's great.
Yeah,
it's really well done.
It's a phenomenal show. It's an achievement, I think, in telly, and one of Star Wars is defining. Like, this will be remembered as one of the, like, I know you take issue with the one of the good ones kind of thing, but like,
yes,
it will.
But no, but it is an achievement of a show.
Yes,
it is. Like, in no way am I going to deny the quality and the level of writing.
You don't like people that lift
into
this
a
show up to dog pile on the other ones.
Yes,
But
because I like the other ones.
Yeah, but this show should still be lifted up as it is.
Yes,
An absolute
it is.
achievement, yeah.
You don't need, like, Star Wars isn't in competition with itself.
No, exactly.
You know,
yeah.
you don't need to create these rankings and campaigns and say, well, this one's fighting this one and this one's better than this one. It's all Star Wars.
The team that made this should have made this. They didn't, though. Like,
we're all having a good time, you know? Like, it doesn't have to fight itself. Like, listen to the lessons of Andor. Don't get fucking consumed with infighting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, it is what it is. But yeah.
I will say before we're in a rush, right? But I will say before we go, there's a couple of things. Obviously, this is a grand return for another happy pod.
This is a grand return,
but
it's not back. I was joking.
No, yeah, it's not back.
Unfortunately, it's not back full time.
It's not
as
back.
much as we both love it to be. It's just unfortunately not feasible.
No,
at the moment.
it's but that's not to say that, like, when there's stuff that comes up that we really do want to talk about, if we can squeeze in time to do so, we will. Even if it's like a half an hour thing and it's shorter.
Yeah,
like
maybe there'll be a Superman.
Maybe there'll be a Superman. Yeah, maybe there will be anything. To be honest, expect whatever.
Like, exactly.
But I will say as well, on a cheeky note, if you're at all interested in, like, our thoughts on pop culture stuff, we do actually have an off-cut podcast that's similar to the recommendation section of the show that we used to do.
Little catch, though, you got to pay for it.
You do have to pay for it, which is why I bring it up at the end of this, at the end of this 2-hour free content.
It's on our Patreon. It's called Still Got Rex, because Another Happy Pod may be over, but we still got Rex. I came up with that.
It is very nice. Yeah. I think we've said it maybe once, and the rest of them were like, "What's up, cunts?"
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but it's basically the recommendation section from Another Happy Pod's been kind of ballooned out into a little bit of its own show. So
we typically do like 2 or 3 each.
2 or 3 each. It's once a month on our Patreon.
We don't go this in depth on stuff.
No, and rarely do we do spoilers, apart from the last time we did and stuff.
But yeah, like, if you're interested, like we did with the episode that will have just gone out at the time of hearing this, we spoke for about, I think it was like a good half an hour to 40 minutes on The Last of Us Season 2, which was quite a good chat. So
yeah, very good. So if you want to check that out, it's patreon.com/stillgotlegs. No pressure, obviously. It is paywalled, it is paid, so yeah.
And it's mostly Doctor Who content.
And it's mostly Doctor Who stuff, but £5 a month if you are at all interested. But yeah, that's it. It's nice to have been back.
Yeah.
A
fleeting visit.
Yes, we'll drop it in, but we'll love you and leave you for a little while again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's stay happy.
Yes, I have no idea what the outro is. But to be honest, there is no outro because there's nothing to plug, and there's like it's not like see you next week. So we'll see you when we see you.
We'll see you when we see you, like an old friend at Christmas. Anyway, bye everyone.
Bye.
Oh fuck.
So out of practice.